Chapter 66, Stuck Up. The eldest young master of our Feng family is called Feng Qingran. The steward looked at Leng Ruoxue in amazement. This woman is so beautiful, even more beautiful than the eldest young master's most beautiful concubine. Feng Qingran, Feng Moran's eyes flashed with hatred. King Kong, Feng Moran called out softly. Master. A 2-meter-tall ape appeared in front of Feng Moran. As his master's spirit beast, he knew about the hatred in his master's heart very well. Break open the door. Feng Moran ordered. Yes. King Kong raised his giant fist and smashed the thick door. With just one punch, the exquisitely carved door became a pile of fragments. The steward and the guard at the door were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. They were stunned for a while before they screamed, "Ah!" Guards! What's wrong? What happened? A few people quickly ran out after hearing the commotion. They were stunned when they saw that the door was gone. Head steward, it's them, the steward stammered. You did it? How dare you, the man referred to as the head steward roared angrily. Head steward Feng, don't you recognize me anymore? Feng Moran asked softly. Why you are? He found him familiar, but he really couldn't remember. Feng Moran. Ah, you're the eldest young master, the head steward said in surprise. The eldest young master had left home for more than a decade, and they all thought that he had already. Stop calling me that. Your eldest young master is Feng Qingran, Feng Moran said coldly. He had no interest in the position of the eldest young master of the Feng family, but he was very interested in Feng Qingran. This, cold sweat broke out on head steward Feng's forehead. It was obvious that the sudden return of this eldest young master, who had been away from home for more than a decade, was not because he was homesick. Moreover, the enormous orangutan eyeing him covetously from the side made him feel even more stressed. Head steward, is he really the eldest young master? The steward asked cautiously. Of course. Eldest young master, please come in, head steward Feng said respectfully. He could clearly feel that the eldest young master was different from before. Where is Aoran? I came back to see my younger brother, Feng Moran said. I in his room, head steward Feng said carefully. The second young master had been subjected to a lot of pressure from the eldest master all these years. Get lost. Let me out. I want to go to the academy. Feng Moran and the others heard the commotion before they approached. What's going on? Feng Moran asked. Young Master Aoran hasn't been feeling well these days, so eldest master asked him to stay at home and rest. But he didn't want to and insisted on going to the academy, so eldest master had to get people to keep an eye on him, the head steward explained carefully. Really? Really? Cold sweat rolled down head steward Feng's forehead. Heavens, why is the pressure of eldest young master so terrifying? Aoran. The three of them followed head steward Feng to the door of Feng Aoran's room. Feng Moran kicked the door open and knocked out the guards in the room. Elder brother, Ruoxue, Yuchen. Feng Aoran, who was trapped in the room, was excited to see them. Aoran, how dare they lock you up? Feng Moran asked angrily. Isn't Aoran favored in the Feng family? How dare they? It's all because of that bastard Feng Qingran. He wanted me to join the Supreme Hall, but I refused, so he got someone to lock me up, Feng Aoran explained angrily. Grandfather and the first elder let him do whatever he wanted. Feng Moran said unpleasantly. Someone is coming. Leng Ruoxue interrupted Feng Aoran. I heard Moran is back. A middle-aged man walked into the room. Eldest uncle, Feng Aoran said indifferently. This must be Moran. You've grown so big, Moran. You've suffered alone outside for so many years. Feng Shao said kindly, his face full of affection and heartache. Feng Moran looked at his eldest uncle's wolf-in-the-sheepskin face mockingly. Thank you for worrying, eldest uncle. We're family. There's no need to be so polite, Feng Xiao said lovingly. Are these two your friends, Moran? Feng Xiao looked at Leng Ruoxue and Yichen thoughtfully. He did not know their backgrounds, and he couldn't discern their cultivation levels at all. Moreover, he couldn't tell what cultivation level his nephew, who suddenly returned home, was at either. But he heard from the head steward that his nephew had a powerful spirit beast. I'm Leng Ruoxue. Yichen, Shuer's fiancé. Oh, it turns out to be Miss Leng and young Master Yi. Welcome. Feng Xiao didn't expect the beautiful girl in front of him to be Leng Ruoxue, General Leng's most beloved granddaughter. General Leng was a prominent figure in Phoenix City, so he really didn't dare to provoke her. Moreover, he had heard that Leng Ruoxue had recovered her mental faculties. It seemed to be true. Oh, Ruoxue. Uncle Feng apologizes for my steward's negligence earlier, Feng Xiao said sincerely and automatically tried to improve their relationship. He even addressed himself as Uncle Feng. We won't blame your servants. It's our fault for not wearing something more extravagant, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. Hee, Ruoxue really likes to joke, Feng Xiao said with an awkward smile. What would others be wearing if yours aren't extravagant enough? That steward has no eyesight. However, how could he be the acting patriarch of a top family if he couldn't discern that the clothes they were wearing were made of snow silk? With this thought, he couldn't help but curse the steward in his head. I want to see grandfather. Feng Moran said directly. Father has been in seclusion for a long time. Eldest uncle is now the acting patriarch, so talking to me is the same as talking to him, Feng Xiao said. Aoran is a student of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. I hope he can attend classes at the academy tomorrow, Feng Moran said coldly. He didn't beat around the bush and directly revealed his intentions. Well, Moran, Aoran hasn't been feeling well for the past few days, which was why Uncle didn't let him go to the academy. You should have heard that the Heavenly Phoenix Academy is now a troublesome place, so it's best for our Feng family not to get involved, Feng Xiao said earnestly. Anyone who heard him would think that he was really thinking on behalf of Feng Aoran. Moreover, he didn't know that Feng Moran was now also a student of the academy. Chapter 67, The Test Begins, Is the Acting Patriarch Feng blaming me? Leng Ruoxue said with a faint smile. Why would you say that? Feng Xiao said with a blank face. Because the trouble in the Heavenly Phoenix Academy began with me. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. I really didn't know. In fact, Feng Xiao had just returned from elsewhere today, so Feng Qingran hadn't had the chance to tell him everything clearly. He hurried over when he heard the steward report that Feng Moran was back. Feng Aoran was also imprisoned in his name by Feng Qingran, but he couldn't undermine his son in front of outsiders. You know now. I hope Feng Aoran can go to the academy tomorrow. The selection test is about to begin. It is a critical time, and he's not allowed to miss it, Leng Ruoxue said coldly. Big brother Feng, stay at home and accompany Aoran. We'll be leaving first. Then Leng Ruoxue left with Yichen. Feng Xiao was so angry seeing Leng Ruoxue leave without even saying goodbye to him. How dare a simpleton ignore me? However, he wasn't the real patriarch of the Feng family yet, so he didn't dare to do anything to Leng Ruoxue even if he was angry. Otherwise, the old antiques in the family wouldn't spare him if he offended General Leng. On the day of the test, Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived early at the sacred hall to prepare for it. Soon, the students taking the test came one after another. Miss, everyone is here, Lin Yuan reported to Leng Ruoxue after counting the number of people. Leng Ruoxue nodded and looked at the more than 200 people in front of her. Today's test is very simple. As long as you enter this room and can come out within the stipulated time, you will pass, Leng Ruoxue said. After hearing this, the 200-plus people present, including Feng De and the others, were stunned for a moment. What kind of test is this? At first, they all thought that they would at least carry out battles to decide the winners and losers even if they didn't test their aptitude. But unexpectedly, they only needed to enter this room. "Shuer, what are you testing them on?" Feng Moran couldn't help asking while watching them enter the room one by one. They had set up this room early in the morning, but they still didn't know what it was for. Character. "I don't want to be taken advantage of by any ingrates," Leng Ruoxue explained. "What's inside then?" Feng Moran asked curiously. Character was indeed very important, and he also knew that many of the people who registered this time were descendants of noble families. As a member of a noble family as well, he knew very well what their mission was. Thus, he actually didn't want those people to pass the test, and he was also afraid of bringing trouble and danger to Shuer. Heart-refining illusion array. Leng Ruoxue said. In this room was an illusion array that tested people's temperament. She had learned it in the heaven-defying art, and it could be used to test people's character. But the illusion array in the heaven-defying art was very complicated and profound. If she used the actual one, no one present would be able to pass, so she slightly modified the illusion array. The current one in the room was the illusion array she had modified, which was just right to test these people. "Big Brother Feng, do you want to go in and experience it?" Leng Ruoxue looked at the dazed Feng Moran mischievously. "Okay, I'll go in and take a look," Feng Moran said eagerly and walked in directly after speaking. He really didn't know what an illusion array was. "Anyone else who wants to enter can enter," Leng Ruoxue said. After hearing this, Feng De and the others all walked in curiously, wanting to experience the illusion array mentioned by their young lady. "Aren't you going in?" Leng Ruoxue asked curiously when she saw that everyone else had entered to try except for Yi Chen and Mu Li, who were clearly not interested. "Not interested," Yi Chen said indifferently. "Me neither," Mu Li said. Leng Ruoxue glanced at them expectantly and then fell silent. The three of them stood quietly at the entrance and waited. Feng Moran walked into the illusion array. At first, the entire array was a vast expanse of white. Slowly, scenes began to appear around him. He seemed to have returned to his childhood, from the moment he took the aptitude test, from being the favored eldest son of the main branch of the Feng family to the useless eldest son of the Feng family, from when he left home to when he met Shuer in the illusionary forest, and so on. All these scenes replayed like a movie. More scenes appeared immediately after. If there were anyone else by his side, they would see that Feng Moran was in pain. His forehead was full of sweat, and his face was occasionally full of hatred. But as time passed, his expression became calmer and more composed, and his will became more resolute. "Shuer, aren't you worried at all that they've gone in?" Yi Chen couldn't help asking after waiting for a while. "What's there to worry about?" "I trust my judgment," Leng Ruoxue said confidently. Half an hour later, Feng Moran was the first to emerge. He looked slightly disheveled, but his complexion was not too bad. "Big Brother Feng, congratulations. You are the first person to come out," Leng Ruoxue smiled gently. Shuer, inside, Feng Moran was even more clear-headed after coming out, as though he had been reborn, and his willpower became more resolute. "It feels pretty good, doesn't it?" Leng Ruoxue said expectantly. Anyone who successfully walked out of the illusion array would experience a mental advancement that would be more beneficial for their future cultivation. "Yes, Shuer, it's amazing," Feng Moran exclaimed. The feeling of being there in person was too real. "Big Brother Feng, anyone who can successfully emerge from the illusion will have faster cultivation in the future, especially in terms of their mental state," Leng Ruoxue explained. The illusion array would automatically adjust according to people's growth experiences, so each person would face different illusions. However, no matter what illusion they faced, it would infinitely magnify the darkness in their hearts. If they could break through the darkness in their hearts, their future achievements would be limitless. Chapter 68, Heart-Refining Illusion Array, that's great. Oh right, Shuer. If our mercenary group wants to recruit people in the future, we can use this to test them, Feng Moran suggested. You had to know that as a spiritualist, in addition to improving spiritual power cultivation, mental cultivation was also very important. But the cultivation speed of mental cultivation was very slow, and if the mind couldn't keep up with the cultivation speed of spiritual power, it would go astray and suffer from qi deviation. Okay, that's a good suggestion. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Leng Ruoxue was not surprised that Big Brother Feng was the first to come out. But what surprised her was that Lin Yuan was the second to come out, and then Feng De also emerged. Seeing her subordinates emerge one after another, Leng Ruoxue was very satisfied. They didn't let me down. After her people came out from the room with the illusion array, Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua walked out almost at the same time. Ah! How were you so fast? Feng Aoran was a little shocked. He thought he was already fast. Ruoxue, did you go easy on them? Feng Aoran asked doubtfully. But I suppose it's normal for them to be faster than me since their cultivation levels are higher than mine. Feng Aoran thought about it and said, I don't know where Ruoxue found these people. All of them have higher cultivation than mine. I used to be the second strongest person in the academy, but now I don't even know what rank I can be. The illusion array inside has nothing to do with cultivation level. It tests your character, Leng Ruoxue said. Oh. What about those who can't come out from inside? Feng Aoran asked curiously. After hearing Feng Aoran's words, Feng De and the others all looked at Leng Ruoxue curiously. If you can't come out, it can only mean that your character isn't good, but there's nothing life-threatening, Leng Ruoxue said while looking at them. Their future cultivation speed will also become very slow, she added in her heart. It's been 2 hours. Why hasn't anyone else come out yet? Feng De said anxiously. Could it be that no one else can come out? After waiting for almost an hour, someone finally emerged. It was a very young boy of only 15 or 16 years old. He was not very tall and had a very delicate appearance, especially his eyes that were as clear as water. His clothes were wrinkled, and there were still sweat stains on his face. Leng Ruoxue looked at the young boy and searched for his identity in her memory. Before the test, she had asked Feng De and the others to investigate the students who registered. This boy's name was Xiao Ting, and he came from a commoner family. Due to his talents, he became a student of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. But the expensive tuition fees of the academy placed a heavy burden on his ordinary family, so this boy often went to the misty woods to hunt spirit beasts to exchange for gold coins to pay for his tuition. Senior sister. Xiao Ting walked to Leng Ruoxue and bowed respectfully. Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded. This Xiao Ting was tenacious and resolute, and he was the first one to emerge among all the students. After Xiao Ting, more students emerged one after another. Leng Ruoxue looked at the time. There was still half an hour to go, and 45 students were already out. By the end of the test, a total of 48 students had completed it. Go home and have a good rest. Gather at the entrance of the academy tomorrow morning. Leng Ruoxue looked at the 48 students in front of her. Yes, the students said and left. Leng Ruoxue removed the array and let out the students who didn't pass the test. You can go back now. After hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, the obviously mentally and physically exhausted students rushed out as if they had been granted amnesty. Miss, are we going to continue eliminating more from the 48 students? Feng De asked curiously. Alas, those students who didn't pass don't know what precious opportunities they've lost. Why should we continue eliminating? Leng Ruoxue asked Feng De instead. Aren't we only short 28 people? Feng De said foolishly. There are no limits on the number of people in the sacred hall. Anyone who is qualified can enter. Yichen patted Feng De's head lightly. Ah, no. I thought there could only be 50 people. Realization dawned on Feng De. Let's go back and rest. Just as Leng Ruoxue and the others were about to leave, Elder Qiu pushed open the door and walked in. Fortunately, you're still here. Elder Chiu looked at everyone with an obviously awkward expression. What's the matter, Elder Chiu? Len Ruoxue frowned slightly. There's a little something. Just say it. We're all tired, and we have to go back early to rest. Len Ruoxue said indifferently. It's like this. Since the Supreme Hall was just established, it has no place for training currently. After some research, the school decided to let them share the training room with you temporarily. Elder Chiu wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. Why is this little girl so imposing? No wonder the principal didn't dare to tell her personally. How long? Len Ruoxue asked with a smile that was not a smile. Elder Chiu didn't know what to say. He wasn't sure either. Since it's the Academy's decision, how can I, a student, dare to have an opinion on it? But I have to warn you not to blame me for not reminding the Academy that if the two halls don't get along, it could result in fights. Len Ruoxue saw that Elder Chiu couldn't answer and didn't force him. After speaking, she turned around and walked out of the training room. Yi Chen and the others followed closely behind. But they looked at Elder Chiu with strange and sympathetic eyes before leaving. Shuer, don't be angry. It's the same for top families and major academies. They have too many things to consider, and sometimes they can't help it themselves. Feng Moran was afraid that Shuer would be angry, so he quickly comforted her. I'm not angry. Did I look angry? Those people don't deserve to make me angry. In fact, she felt that it was good for the two halls to train together. This way, she had a reason to teach those people not pleasing to the eye a lesson. Chapter 69, Collective Advancement. That's good. Alas, he thought Shuer was angry since she kept silent. Big brother Feng, how are you doing in the Feng residence? Ever since they accompanied him to the Feng residence, Big brother Feng had been staying there for the past 2 days. She had been busy with the test and hadn't had the time to ask. The first elder looked for me, Feng Moran said. The first elder also made many promises to him, saying that he would compensate him for the wrongs that he had suffered all these years. He saw King Kong. Len Ruoxue asked in realization. Even a top family like the Feng family didn't have divine beasts, so she was not surprised that the family valued Big brother Feng. Yeah. Feng Moran nodded. After saying a few words of concern and courtesy, the first elder had said that he wanted to see King Kong. Feng Moran was stunned for a few minutes and then left without saying a word. The next day, the first elder came to Feng Moran and said a lot of friendly words. What does Big brother Feng think? I only went back to the Feng residence to stay with my brother for a few days. I'll leave soon, Feng Moran said. He didn't intend to stay there permanently. Big brother Feng, I have no objections if you want to be a young master of the Feng family. She said this because she didn't want Feng Moran to have concerns. She wasn't him after all. People in this world valued family interests very much, and they were born to serve their families. I'm not interested in being a young master of the Feng family. Feng Moran said indifferently. In the past, he might have been very happy. But now, he was not interested at all. Being with Shuer had broadened his horizons, so how could he be willing to trap himself in a family? Everyone chatted as they walked back to the Len residence together. It was not until late at night that Feng Moran and Feng Aoran reluctantly returned to the Feng residence. Feng De, Lin Yuan, and I will go to the academy. The rest of you, stay at home. Len Ruoxue said after breakfast when she saw that it was almost time. Shuer, Yi Chen looked at Shuer with resentful eyes. Why isn't she bringing me along? Boo-hoo. Okay, you too. Len Ruoxue was a little helpless. This freak really likes to pretend to be pitiful. When Len Ruoxue and the others arrived at the entrance of the academy, the 48 students were already waiting there. Len Ruoxue got them to sit on Quill's back and let Quill carry them out of Phoenix City. Quill flew while his sharp eagle eyes scanned for a suitable place to land. After looking for some time, he found an uninhabited deep valley and descended. Where is this? It's so desolate, the students couldn't help feeling at a loss after getting off Quill's back. Feng De, Lin Yuan, distribute the pills to them. Leng Ruoxue handed the jade bottles to the two of them. As long as you take the pills and advance to spiritual monarch, you will be students of the sacred hall from now on. She didn't tell them that their cultivation speed would be faster after taking her spiritual essence pills. This could also be considered their last test. Of course, taking the pill is voluntary, Leng Ruoxue added. She was not willing to impose on others. After hearing this, many of the students directly put the pills in their mouths. A small number of them hesitated, but in the end, they still took the pills. Leng Ruoxue naturally remembered every single one of their reactions. But if those slightly hesitant students knew that they had lost the qualification to follow Leng Ruoxue because of their hesitation, they would definitely regret it to death. Most of these students were commoners, and for commoners, being able to become a spiritual monarch was already very satisfying. After all, becoming a spiritual monarch would allow them to apply for a noble title from the empire, and it would also improve their families' lives. This was why they ate spiritual essence pills without hesitation. These students knew what they needed the most. It was obvious that the high tuition fees for spiritualists were too much of a burden for them. Soon after taking the pills, some students began to feel the abnormality in their bodies, and they hurriedly sat cross-legged. Then more students gradually sensed the signs of advancement. After the first stream of heaven and earth laws descended, the entire valley was shrouded in dazzling light. Then streams of heaven and earth laws descended one after another. The scene of 48 students breaking through at the same time was quite spectacular. Fortunately, they were now advancing in an uninhabited deep valley, or else it would have scared people to death. After a long while, the aftershocks of the heaven and earth laws slowly disappeared. The 48 students who finished their advancements checked out their spiritualist levels happily. Congratulations on officially becoming students of the Sacred Hall. It'll give you a few days off to consolidate your cultivation. Come to the Sacred Hall next Monday to report, Leng Ruoxue said to them. Yes. Also, I hope you can keep your mouths tightly sealed about the pills. Don't tell anyone, or else don't blame me for being ruthless. Leng Ruoxue warned them kindly. Senior sister, we won't tell anyone, the students promised in unison. They were not stupid. How could they tell others about taking pills to advance? Only those with poor aptitude would take pills. Yes, very good. Let's go back now. After sending the students to the entrance of the academy, Leng Ruoxue returned to the Leng residence with Yi Chen and the others. The next day, Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived at the sacred hall as usual, only to find Feng Moran, Feng Aoran, and Xiaohua standing outside the training room. Big brother Feng, why are you standing outside? Leng Ruoxue asked doubtfully. The people from the Supreme Hall said they want to train and want us to leave, Feng Moran explained lightly. Why? This is our place. They are the ones borrowing it. Feng De roared angrily. His temper had become a little fiery since he contracted with the fire dragon. Without saying a word, Leng Ruoxue kicked open the door of the training room with a bang and walked straight in. Yi Chen and the others followed closely behind. Everyone in the training room stopped what they were doing because of the loud noise. They looked at Leng Ruoxue and the others with doubt, fear, and anger in their eyes. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes swept over everyone present indifferently. Most of them were people she had seen before, but there were also some unfamiliar faces. Chapter 70, Former Fiancé, 1, Who Wants Us to Leave? Leng Ruoxue's tone was cold and without a trace of emotion. Me. Chen Fang said nonchalantly. Everyone from the Supreme Hall was here today, so she was quite confident. You? What are you? Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of confusion. I am not a thing. Chen Fang yelled angrily. Yes, You are quite self-aware and sensible, knowing that you are a thing. Leng Ruoxue nodded to show that she was very satisfied. Leader, she has been to our sacred hall so many times, but she has finally shown some intellect this time, Feng De said cooperatively. You. Damn you all. I'm sorry. I'm the leader of the Supreme Hall. We are training now. Please excuse us. Fu Mingyuan came out to smooth things over. This Qin Fang really didn't learn her lesson. She had suffered several times in front of Leng Ruoxue but still tried to go against her. It turns out you're the leader of the Supreme Hall. Leng Ruoxue looked at Fu Mingyuan. No wonder he warned her not to regret it. Yes, we also have a deputy leader, Li Yu, Fu Mingyuan explained kindly. Li Yu? Big brother Yu, your fiancée is here. Aren't you going to greet her? A beautiful girl said coquettishly while leaning in the arms of a youth. Leng Ruoxue looked at the young girl who spoke up. Su Nair. She was indeed a rare beauty, and she had enough assets to make all men protective of the fairer sex. A weak and seemingly innocent and beautiful girl would indeed cause men to dote on her like the pearl in their hands. Of course, the prerequisite was that the obvious jealousy in her eyes had to be ignored. Wasn't Su Nair brought back to be grounded by the Su family? She was released so quickly. The youth she was leaning on was also very handsome. His temperament was noble and outstanding, worthy of being a product of the imperial family. It was said that this seventh prince was the most favored prince, and his aptitude was the best among the princes. Leng Ruoxue, I don't care what your purpose is. I will never like you. Moreover, this isn't a place you can come to. You better leave quickly and return to your general's mansion and stay there obediently. The amazement in 7th Prince Li Xian's eyes flashed for a moment before he spoke with some contempt. So what if a simpleton looks beautiful? She will only be worthy of being the plaything of the strong if she doesn't have true strength. 7th Prince, don't you know that only simpletons would like you? Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. Are all members of the imperial family so self-righteous and self-absorbed? Who are you calling a simpleton? Su Nair said furiously. Ah! Who knows? Miss Su, why are you in such a hurry to make a connection? Leng Ruoxue smiled charmingly as killing intent flashed in her eyes for a moment. I have more important things to do now, so I'll let you jump around for a while. Also, my current fiancé is someone else. Miss Su, don't be mistaken, or else my fiancé will be unhappy, Leng Ruoxue added. 7th Prince, right? Shuer is now my fiancé. She can stay wherever she wants. You shouldn't be so nosy even if you are a prince. Yi Qin said mockingly. This 7th Prince is really an eyesore. What? Such a handsome and outstanding man is actually that simpleton's fiancé. Su Nair's heart was overflowing with sourness and jealousy. How can a simpleton have such good luck? In fact, as soon as they walked in, she had noticed this incomparably handsome man and was thinking of ways to rope him into the Supreme Hall. But she didn't expect that he was actually that simpleton's fiancé. This was really a blow to the always proud Su Nair. But she would not admit defeat. What right does a simpleton have to have such an outstanding man? Only I am worthy of a heavenly man. At this moment, she had long thrown the 7th Prince and the like far out of her mind. Her heart and eyes were all full of this man who was more beautiful than a woman. That's right. Our young miss is no longer your fiancé. Why do you care where our young miss wants to go? Cui Zhu echoed. I've long heard that the 7th Prince's engagement was broken off by a simpleton. I thought it was a rumor, but it's actually true. Feng De pretended to be confused. Hee, I'm avenging you, Mississippi, don't blame me. I heard that the most favored 7th Prince was grounded because his engagement was broken off by a simpleton. It shows how important this marriage was to the emperor. Lin Yuan chipped in. They spoke one after another happily, but 7th Prince Li Yu was about to blow up from anger. How dare you talk about the imperial family like this? Li Yu, who had never been treated this way, flew into a rage out of humiliation. This matter was indeed the greatest pain in his heart. Since he was a child, he had always had the freedom to do whatever he wanted. But his father not only scolded him but also punished him severely because of this matter, causing him to be laughed at many times. You guys are too daring. It's fine if you're talking about it in private, but you actually dare to say it in front of the seventh prince. I don't mind others calling me a simpleton, but the imperial family isn't as magnanimous as I am. Leng Ruoxue deliberately rebuked. We're sorry, Mississippi. We were wrong. We should have said it in private. We should have left some dignity for the seventh prince. Feng Das and Lin Yuan's faces were full of regret. Promising. You learn fast. Leng Ruoxue praised. The seventh prince's face turned green with anger. Fu Mingyuan, even though the academy allows you to share the training room of the Sacred Hall, this is the territory of the Sacred Hall after all. You should at least inform me, the leader of the Sacred Hall, if the Supreme Hall wants to use the training room. Leng Ruoxue couldn't be bothered with the indignant seventh prince and directly turned her attention to Fu Mingyuan. However, this young lady has always been very magnanimous. I'll lend it to you first since you like this place so much. Leng Ruoxue didn't give Fu Mingyuan a chance to speak and continued understandingly. Alright, let's go hunting. Leng Ruoxue turned to Yi Chen and the others. Go hunting. Feng De and the others escorted Leng Ruoxue out of the training room. Chapter 71, Former Fiancé, 2, Leng Ruoxue, the principal wants to see you. Elder Chiu, who was standing at the door, immediately stepped forward when he saw them come out. I'm sorry. Please tell the principal that this young lady isn't free. Leng Ruoxue said without giving any face. Elder Chiu looked at everyone walking away and sighed helplessly. This girl really isn't the ordinary kind of crazy. She even dares to slight the principal. Miss, where are we going? Feng De couldn't help asking. Hunting. Where else can we go? Really? He thought his young lady was joking. Miss, I want to eat fire rhinoceros meat. The poor fire rhinoceroses were about to be unlucky again. Alas, everyone couldn't help mourning for 3 seconds in their hearts for the fire rhinoceroses. The territory of the fire rhinoceros king. Why are you here? The fire rhinoceros king asked fearfully. Why did this demon come so quickly? Does she want me to identify the person? Fire rhinoceros king, I just want to eat some fire rhino meat. Why are you being so skittish? People might think I've done something to you. Leng Ruoxue couldn't help teasing. After hearing what she said, everyone was at a loss for words. Miss, your words are too suggestive. Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua looked at the fire rhinoceros king with their mouths agape. They couldn't believe that this was the fiery-tempered fire rhinoceros king. Why did it look so frail? It didn't have any presence at all. It had to be known that fire rhinoceroses were very barbaric spirit beasts. How could they know that the fire rhinoceros king's body was so weak because it had been having diarrhea for days? Moreover, in the fire rhinoceros king's eyes, Leng Ruoxue and Yi Chen were 2 demons that it couldn't offend. Fire rhinoceros king, you have to perform well and strive to achieve meritorious service as soon as possible. Feng De gently patted the head of the fire rhinoceros king while his other hand was still rotating the fire rhinoceros meat currently grilling above the fire. Feng Aoran looked sympathetically at the fire rhinoceros king, which was so scared that it didn't even dare to fart. He couldn't help but grumble in his heart. Say, can you not be so arrogant? Not only are you grilling fire rhinoceros meat to eat in front of the fire rhinoceros king, but you're even lecturing it like it's a child. However, such an experience is really very rare. Stinky fire rhinoceros, I bet you didn't expect to have a day like this. Suddenly, an arrogant voice sounded from the distance. Everyone's gazes turned toward the fire rhinoceros king in unison. "It's my archenemy," the fire rhinoceros king said softly, but it was overjoyed in its heart. "Humph, that fellow is going to be in big trouble this time. It must have heard somewhere that I'm unwell recently, so it came to loot a burning house." As soon as the fire rhinoceros king finished speaking, a group of snakes slowly slithered over from the distance. Leading them was a water python, a level 4 holy beast, and it had all sorts of snakes as subordinates. Leng Ruoxua looked at the water python with some amusement. From what she knew, pythons like to live alone. She didn't expect this water python to have so many subordinates. It seemed that it was an anomaly among pythons. Moreover, it had a lot of subordinates, numbering in the thousands, and most of them were advanced spirit beasts. Oh, not bad. It should be enough to eat for a while. Everyone, apart from Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua, who were nervously holding their weapons and vigilantly watching the approaching group of snakes, was thinking that something delicious had come knocking on their doors again. "Miss, which one should we eat first?" Feng De was drooling slightly. Snake spirit beasts were famous for their deliciousness. "Schwer, let's eat that one with red stripes first. I heard that the brighter they are, the more poisonous they are, and the more delicious they will taste." "And that one is fat enough," Yichen suggested. "But I want to try the holy beast first," Leng Ruoxue said awkwardly. She had never eaten a water python before. "Then let's eat the holy beast first," Yichen echoed. "Okay, let's eat the holy beast first," everyone echoed. Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua were speechless. Do you have to be so gluttonous? Snake-type spirit beasts aren't easy to deal with. Huh, there are actually humans? Great. I haven't eaten humans for a long time, the approaching water python said happily when it saw so many humans. I've never eaten a water python before either. Big stupid snake, why don't we see who eats first? Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. What? You want to eat me? Human, how dare you? You will pay the price for saying that, the water python roared angrily. There was a faint black liquid flowing on its blue skin, indicating that it was angry. Calm down. You're not a fire python. Why are you so hot-tempered? Leng Ruoxue tried to calm it down. Fire spirit beasts were notorious for their bad tempers. I'm angry. The consequences are serious, the water python roared. Why do spirit beasts like to say this nowadays? Leng Ruoxue was a little speechless. I'll leave it to you. Leng Ruoxue motioned for Feng De and the others to start. Miss, just wait for the grilled snake meat. Feng De smiled. He was the first to rush into the group of snakes and directly went to the holy beast water python. Lin Yuan followed closely behind as everyone joined the battle. Upon seeing this, Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua naturally didn't want to fall behind and started killing the snakes one by one. In just a few minutes, a third of the snakes had died. Fire Rhinoceros King, you owe me a big favor. Leng Ruoxue said lightly to the Fire Rhinoceros King while watching them fight the water python. There was a price to pay for using her. Why yes. Seeing that its intentions had been exposed, the Fire Rhinoceros King's heart trembled. What a demon. Then tell me, how do you plan to pay for this? Leng Ruoxue asked softly. Schwer, it really doesn't have anything good other than fire rhinoceros fruits, Yichen reminded her. Some spirit beasts were born with the gift of planting fruits, and fire rhinoceroses were such spirit beasts. Fire rhinoceros fruits might not be as good as Schwer spirit fruits, but they were still pretty good. I have crystal honey, the Fire Rhinoceros King stammered. How can a fire rhino like you have crystal honey? Leng Ruoxue was a little curious. The crystal bee queen needed the pollen from our fire rhinoceros fruits, so she exchanged for some with crystal honey, the Fire Rhinoceros King explained. Chapter 72, Robbing the Fire Rhinoceros King. I didn't expect spirit beasts to engage in trade, Len Ruoxua thought. How much do you have then? A lot. We fire rhinoceroses aren't interested in honey, the fire rhinoceros king said. But it also knew that the honey was something good, so it kept it. Then give me all your crystal honey as my reward for helping you, Len Ruoxua said bluntly. Spirit beasts that need to be robbed had to be robbed properly. Why yes. I'll go with it to get the honey. Watch over here, Len Ruoxua said to Yi Chen, and even specially left Charm and Darling behind. Okay, be careful on the way. Len Ruoxua followed the somewhat shaky fire rhinoceros king to a cave. After entering the cave, she saw that the entire cave was planted with trees half the size of a human. The trees were full of fist-sized fiery red fruits, and the fruits contained spiritual energy. They were definitely good things in the eyes of ordinary people, but she wasn't interested in these fruits. It's all here. The fire rhinoceros king pointed at the bottles piled in the corner. Len Ruoxua looked at the bottles casually piled up in the corner by the fire rhinoceros king and couldn't help being a little surprised. She didn't expect there to be so many. She casually picked up a bottle that should be made of beeswax and opened it to see that it could hold approximately 5 kilograms of honey. She counted that there were about 30 similar bottles in the corner. Isn't this more than 150 kilograms? Len Ruoxua unceremoniously stored all the bottles into her ring. Since the fire rhinoceroses didn't like honey anyway, of course she couldn't give this advantage to others. By the time she returned with the fire rhinoceros king, the battle was almost over. Some people were cleaning up the battlefield, while others were cleaning the snake meat. You worked quickly. Len Ruoxua praised. They really satisfied her more and more. Shuer, how was it? Yi Chen asked. Seems like she had a good harvest. Not bad, about 150 kilograms. That much? Yi Chen was slightly surprised. Miss, 150 kilograms of what? Lin Yuan, who was making a fire at the side, asked curiously. Crystal honey. We're rich. We're rich. Lin Yuan shouted with a silly smile after being stunned for a moment. Miss, here is some holy beast meat. Feng De handed Len Ruoxua a piece of cleaned meat. Thank you. Len Ruoxua took the meat and began grilling it. What are you standing there for? Go and do your work. Feng De nudged Lin Yuan. Oh. Wow, this water python meat is even better than the earth python meat. Yeah, it's really delicious. Everyone couldn't help but exclaim in admiration as they ate the water python meat. When everyone was satisfied with eating the grilled meat, it was almost night. They simply packed up and started walking back. Miss, aren't we going to fly back? Cui Zhu couldn't help asking curiously when she saw that her young miss didn't intend to ride the flying spirit beast. Flying right after eating, do you want to become a pig? Len Ruoxua gently knocked Cui Zhu on the head. See, you were scolded. Lu Tao looked at Cui Zhu with some amusement. Master, there's a sound over there, Charm, who was lying on Len Ruoxua's shoulder, reminded her. Where? Let's go take a look, Len Ruoxua said. It was a good time to exercise after eating. Go to the right. Everyone curiously walked in the direction Charm had pointed out. Before they approached, they saw an ugly spirit beast that was as tall as a hill. Master, it's an earth lizard, Charm said. This earth lizard was not as high level as the one he had fought, but it was at least level 8. Beloved master, earth lizards are the most annoying. Not only are they ugly, but they also don't like cleanliness. But they are very strong, and ordinary spirit beasts aren't their match, Darling said with a look of disdain. Len Ruoxua's beautiful eyes observed the situation in front of her. The enormous earth lizard was riddled with wounds, and its opponent was a beautiful cloud-patterned white tiger. This white tiger was a level 7 holy beast, a lower level than the earth lizard. The injuries on its body were also more serious than those of the earth lizard, and it was obvious that it was hanging on by a thread. Blood had long stained its beautiful white fur. There was a cave behind them, and miserable groans were constantly coming from it. Len Ruoxue guessed that the reason this tiger could last until now was probably to protect its loved ones in the cave. "Darling, go help that tiger. Charm and I will take a look at the cave," Len Ruoxue said. She had a good impression of this tiger which protected its loved ones with its life and wanted to help it. "Okay," Darling said reluctantly. "I wanted to be together with my cute master." "Boo-hoo." Len Ruoxue and Charm quietly entered the cave, but what they saw after entering surprised her a little. There was also a pure white tiger in the cave, and it was also a level 7 holy beast. She originally thought that the white tiger was injured, but when she got closer, she realized that the white tiger was in labor and seemed to be having a difficult birth. Hearing sounds, the cloud-striped white tiger turned her head in pain and looked at Len Ruoxue vigilantly. "Human, I won't let you succeed. Humans shouldn't even think about snatching my child away from me. I'm here to help you," Len Ruoxue explained to the white tiger. She knew that some humans like to steal spirit beast cubs, so it was no wonder that this tiger was so vigilant. "Do you think I will believe the words of a human? Humans are all despicable and shameless." The mother white tiger's blue eyes were full of disbelief and disdain. "You don't have to believe me. But if your child doesn't come out, I'm afraid both your lives will be lost, right?" Len Ruoxue reminded her from where she was standing without moving forward. High-level holy beasts were as intelligent as humans, so she believed that the white tiger would think it through. The white tiger fell silent. "My master isn't that kind of human," Charm said angrily when he saw that the white tiger didn't reply. "This stinky tiger really doesn't know how to appreciate favors." But he didn't deny that what she said was true. It was also because he had interacted with humans for a long time that he knew that not all humans were like that. Purple-eyed snow fox. The mother white tiger, which had been thinking, looked at the small and cute white fox lying on the human's shoulder in astonishment. As a spirit beast, she was very clear about the status of purple-eyed snow foxes among spirit beasts. She didn't expect a noble purple-eyed snow fox to acknowledge a human as his master. Chapter 73, Abducting a Family, 1, "Humph, you have good eyesight," Charm said proudly. Most spirit beasts would mistake him for a white fox. Seeing that Len Ruoxue was the master of the purple-eyed snow fox, the mother white tiger didn't repel her anymore. "Eat this." Len Ruoxue hurriedly walked to the mother white tiger's side when she saw that the tiger had lowered her vigilance. She didn't know how to deliver babies, so she could only rely on this tiger itself. "Thank you." The white tiger opened her mouth and took the pill Len Ruoxue gave her. The pill melted as soon as it entered her mouth, and a refreshing fragrance refreshed her mind. Moreover, the mother white tiger clearly felt that all the spiritual power consumed in her body had returned, and the pain had lessened considerably. She was full of strength, which was of vital importance to her, who was currently in labor. About half an hour later, under the efforts of the recovered mother white tiger, 3 little white tigers were finally born. Len Ruoxue was at a loss as she looked at the 3 little white balls of flesh that weren't even the size of an adult's palm. "Why aren't they eggs?" Len Ruoxue asked, a little dumbfounded. "Aren't all spirit beasts born from eggs in this world?" Charm looked at his master's confused expression and chuckled. His master looked really cute now. "Master, spirit beasts can choose whether they want to give live births or not. It's just that giving live births consumes more nutrients from the mother's body, so spirit beasts basically choose to birth eggs," Charm explained. It was clear that this white tiger loved her children very much and was also a great mother to choose to give birth to her own children. "Oh. So that's why." Len Ruoxue felt so embarrassed. Fortunately, there was no one else here. Actually, she couldn't be blamed for not knowing because such things weren't recorded in any book. Dear. The white tiger outside ran in and rushed to his beloved wife's side as if there was no one else around after the danger was averted. The two tigers rubbed against each other affectionately, with only each other in their eyes. Can these two tigers not be so mushy? Leng Ruoxue was a little speechless. But she saw that his injuries had healed, so Yi Chen and the others must have treated him. Shuer, how did it go? Yi Chen was the first to enter. Beloved master. A purple shadow jumped directly into Leng Ruoxue's arms. She gave birth to 3 little tigers, Leng Ruoxue said somewhat helplessly while caressing the soft fur of Darling in her arms. The 2 tigers didn't even care about their children once they saw each other. Let me see, Yi Chen said curiously. Where? Where? The others heard that 3 tiger cubs had been born the moment they entered, and all of them were eager to see them. Wow, they're so cute. The 3 fluffy little meatballs captured everyone's heart instantly. But they only dared to look at them and didn't dare to touch them at all. After all, most beasts protecting their cubs were very fierce. After being intimate with his wife, the male white tiger walked to Leng Ruoxue and said gratefully, "Thank you for saving my wife." Although they were high-level holy beasts who had never liked humans, this human had helped their entire family. He really didn't know how to repay her. He thought for a while and then walked to the 3 little white tiger cubs, which had yet to open their eyes. He picked up 2 of them, came in front of Leng Ruoxue, and placed the little tiger cubs in his mouth in front of her. "Please take care of my children," the male white tiger said, feeling reluctant to part with them. Does this white tiger want his children to become spirit beasts for Ruoxue? Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua were dumbfounded. Is this the legendary moral character of a person? Even after exhausting themselves working hard, others might not be able to obtain a spirit beast with good aptitude. But now, this holy beast actually took the initiative to deliver his children to her door. They were children of holy beasts, so their natural aptitude would be much better than ordinary spirit beasts. How many people would dream of having them? Are you willing to part with them? Leng Ruoxue asked thoughtfully. You saved our entire family. I have nothing to repay you with, the male white tiger said honestly. Spirit beasts knew to repay favors. But I can't bear to see your family separate, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. What does Miss mean? Don't tell me she wants to capture this entire white tiger family in one fell swoop. Feng De and the others couldn't help quipping in their minds. Why don't your whole family come with me? My home is big, and I can afford to raise you all, Leng Ruoxue said without blushing or skipping a beat, wearing an expression that said she was doing this for your own good. We were right. Feng De and the others were flabbergasted. The male white tiger thought about it and walked to his wife. The 2 tigers discussed again, and then the male white tiger walked back to Leng Ruoxue. All right, my whole family will go with you, the male white tiger said. After discussing it with his wife, they both felt that this human was not bad, so acknowledging her as their master was acceptable. Miss, you are too charming. Feng De and the others' admiration for their young lady rose to an indescribable height. Even Feng Aoran and Xiao Hua were looking at her strangely. Beast trainers would have no jobs if everyone could obtain holy beasts so easily. Leng Ruoxue got the 5 white tigers to enter the Heaven and Earth bracelet, and then everyone left the misty woods together. After returning home, Leng Ruoxue went straight to the cold tea pavilion. Big brother. Shuer. Leng Ruhan put down his book happily when he saw his sister. Big brother, I have a gift for you. What gift? Leng Ruhan was curious. Leng Ruoxue released the white tiger family from the Heaven and Earth bracelet. Leng Ruhan looked at the white tigers that occupied his entire room in astonishment. Cloud-patterned white tigers. Where did you get them? Cloud-patterned white tigers were very precious among tiger-type spirit beasts, and they had the highest aptitude. Moreover, from the looks of it, Shuer had clearly brought their entire family here. Leng Ruhan gently picked up a little white tiger that had yet to fully open its eyes. His face was full of love as his big palm gently caressed the soft fur on the little white tiger's body. Leng Ruoxue knew that her brother definitely liked them from his expression. She wanted to give the white tiger children to her brother the moment the male white tiger offered them to her. The beautiful white tigers and her immortal-like brother were a perfect match. Chapter 74, Abducting a Family, 2, I'll leave my big brother to you. Leng Ruoxue patted the male white tiger's head. She had already told the white tiger couple the general situation on the way back, hoping that they could protect her brother. The male white tiger nodded his huge head. Even though it was a pity that he couldn't acknowledge Leng Ruoxue as his master, he still had a good impression of this man. As soon as Leng Ruoxue left her brother's room, she saw her grandfather. Shuer, Grandpa thanks you. Leng Qingtian said from outside the door. Grandpa, why are you being so polite with your own granddaughter? Leng Ruoxue deliberately sounded displeased. Grandpa was wrong. Grandpa shouldn't be polite with Shuer, Leng Qingtian quickly coaxed. That's right. Leng Ruoxue dragged her grandfather away and told him about what happened today. Big sister, it's time. The pink little Qing Ju appeared in the purple bamboo house and reminded her. His big sister went into seclusion the night after returning from the misty woods. Got it, Leng Ruoxue answered and slowly opened her beautiful eyes. Her body was like a bottomless pit. No amount of spiritual energy could satiate her hunger, even though absorbing spiritual energy was faster in the heaven and earth bracelet. Lu Tao, Leng Ruoxue called out softly after exiting the heaven and earth bracelet. Mississippi. Lu Tao opened the door gently and walked in. Is Fengde back? Before she went into seclusion, she had already told Fengde to pick her up this morning. Not yet, Lu Tao replied. Okay. Where are the others? Having breakfast in the front hall. Leng Ruoxue nodded, washed up, and went to the front hall with Lu Tao. Why hasn't Miss come out yet? I'm out. Leng Ruoxue and Lu Tao heard Lin Yuan muttering to himself just as they entered the front hall. Shuer, come and have breakfast. Leng Qingtian said happily when he saw his granddaughter. Okay. Leng Ruoxue sat down in the empty seat next to her grandfather. Fengde returned after breakfast. Miss, everyone is here. They're in the garden. Fengde said directly when he walked into the front hall and saw Leng Ruoxue. Then let's go to the garden. Leng Ruoxue stood up and walked out with everyone. From now on until the selection competition, we won't be training in the academy. I'll divide you into 2 teams and bring you to the illusionary forest for training, Leng Ruoxue explained to the puzzled-looking students in front of her. The illusionary forest. That place is very dangerous. The expressions of some timid students changed when Leng Ruoxue mentioned the illusionary forest. If anyone is afraid and doesn't want to go, you can let me know. Leng Ruoxue added after seeing their reactions. Everyone had their own aspirations, and she didn't want to impose on others. The students looked at each other, and their hearts gradually became firm. In fact, they also knew that they shouldn't be timid and afraid of trouble if they wanted to become strong. Since no one is backing out, you must absolutely obey your leader's arrangements when you are there. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences yourself. Leng Ruoxue warned. She didn't need students who didn't follow orders. Yes, everyone answered in unison. Your leaders are Feng Moran and me. Those whose names are called, follow me. The others follow Feng Moran, Leng Ruoxue said and motioned for Lin Yuan to start calling out names. Lin Yuan took out the name list of prearranged teams and started reading it. Xiao Hua. Xiao Ting. After sorting the teams, Leng Ruoxue let Quill out. After appearing, Quill immediately enlarged himself, and the giant black eagle instantly occupied nearly the entire garden. Grandpa, big brother, we're leaving, Leng Ruoxue said when she saw that everyone was seated on Quill's back. Okay, get going. Be careful. Leng Qingtian couldn't help reminding her. Shuer, big brother will miss you. Leng Ruhan felt slightly reluctant to part. Quill, let's go. Leng Ruoxue patted his head helplessly. Ah. Grandpa, big brother, don't make it so sad. Leng Qingtian and his grandson watched as Quill flew farther and farther away. They only returned to their rooms reluctantly when they could no longer see him. After Quill became a level 9 holy beast, his flying speed was nearly twice as fast as before. And they arrived at the illusionary forest a few hours later. After entering the illusionary forest, they didn't walk far before they reached a fork in the road. Big brother Fengde, let's split up and gather here 10 days later, Leng Ruoxue said to the two of them. Fengde's team were all members of the Blazing Flame mercenary group, so she had nothing to worry about. Then she led her team down the right path. Let's camp here today. After walking for a while, Leng Ruoxue stopped and looked at the open space in front of her. She had stayed here for a few days before and knew that it was very safe. Okay. Yi Chen was also very satisfied with this place. Since they couldn't do much today, it was better to rest early so that they could adapt to the environment here. Quill and I will go break through, Leng Ruoxue said quietly to Yi Chen. All right. Yi Chen nodded. Quill carried Leng Ruoxue to the place where he used to live. It was inside a giant tree and a different world after they entered. There was a wide cave connected to the tree and a hot spring inside. Quill, this place isn't bad. Leng Ruoxue exclaimed. It's okay. Quill scratched his head with his wings shyly. Let's begin. Leng Ruoxue said after looking around Quill's former home. She had been storing her spiritual power diligently since Quill advanced to level 9 Holy Beast. Otherwise, she would not have advanced so quickly. Quill nodded and threw a green spirit pill into his mouth. Then he half laid on the ground and waited to advance. After about an hour, the spiritual power in Quill's body finally broke through the threshold. Quill successfully advanced to Divine Beast with the descent of heaven and earth laws. Master, Quill, who had transformed into a human, called out happily. Not bad. Leng Ruoxue looked at Quill's human form with satisfaction. Another handsome and beautiful man with black hair, black eyes, and a cold temperament. Even though he wasn't as alluring as Charm, he was beautiful enough for human aesthetics. But the benefits that Quill brought her due to advancing to Divine Beast didn't allow her to break through. She only had a lot more spiritual power in her body. Alas, since I cultivated the heaven-defying art, my body has become a bottomless pit that no amount of spiritual power can fill. Chapter 75, bringing the team to the illusionary forest after Quill advanced, Leng Ruoxue and he returned to their campsite. You're back, Yi Chen welcomed Shuer and Quill. Is everything okay? Leng Ruoxue asked worriedly. These students were inexperienced. No issues. I got Xiaohua to bring them hunting, Yi Chen explained. Leader. As they spoke, they saw Xiaohua leading a group of people back with a lot of game in their hands. Seems like your harvest was good. Leng Ruoxue looked at them appreciatively. This should be the safest place in the illusionary forest. As long as they didn't venture farther, they wouldn't encounter any danger. Hee, it's okay, Xiaohua said modestly, but his face was full of pride. After dinner, have an early rest. We start the devil training tomorrow, Leng Ruoxue said seriously. Leader, what is devil training? Xiaohua asked curiously. The others also looked at Leng Ruoxue in confusion, their eyes obviously yearning to know. You'll know then. Leng Ruoxue smiled mysteriously, not planning to tell them now. At the camp of Feng Moran's team. Elder brother, I can't take it anymore. Let's rest for a while. Feng Aoran pleaded while panting. The others were also so tired that they directly collapsed on the ground. You can't take it anymore. The training I received back then was twice as much what you've received. Fong Moran looked at the students lying on the ground, unwilling to get up with some contempt. The training intensity of his team was not very high. He believed that the training in Shuer's team would definitely be similar to theirs. No way. How can Ruoshua be so terrifying? Where did she come up with these methods? Fong Aoran asked fearfully. He was a spiritualist, not a martial artist. Why did he wake up early every morning to run and train his stamina? He could run in normal circumstances, but he had to run while carrying dozens of kilograms of weights on his legs every day. No, to be precise, it was a dozen kilograms on the first day, and it increased every day. It was already the third day, and the weight on his legs added up to nearly 50 kilograms. Boo-hoo. Shuer said that you have poor stamina, so you have to get up early to train your stamina first. There will be actual combat later, Fong Moran reminded very kindly. If you can't take this bit of physical training, what about actual combat? Actual combat? Ah. Kill me. Fong Aoran lay on the grass like a dead fish. He had been training his physical strength almost every day for the past 3 days. His whole body was aching every day, so how could he have the strength to fight? What is that sound? Fong Aoran pricked up his ears cautiously. He seemed to have heard some rumbling. Is there a sound? Why didn't I hear it? Fong Moran pretended to be confused. I'll go take a look. A boy volunteered. Leader, it's a group of spirit beasts. The boy ran back in panic, his face pale, obviously scared out of his wits. Elder brother, what should we do? Fong Aoran asked anxiously. The spirit beasts in the illusionary forest weren't easy to deal with. What can we do? Fight, of course. You're all spiritual monarchs, so surely you won't be so cowardly. Fong Moran deliberately provoked them. Shuer is right. True powerhouses are tempered through battles. Fine, I'll fight. Fong Aoran was unwilling to admit defeat. He was already much weaker than his brother in terms of strength, so he couldn't lose in terms of his imposing manner. As soon as Fong Aoran finished speaking, the spirit beasts appeared in front of them. Fong Aoran and the others quickly dragged their aching bodies to get up and fight. Elder brother, why aren't you helping? Fong Aoran happened to see his brother leisurely eating grilled meat while he was fighting 2 spirit beasts. His brother didn't seem to have any intention of helping. Moreover, the spirit beasts, which bullied the weak and feared the strong, didn't dare to attack his brother at all. Fong Aoran was so angry. He attacked even more ruthlessly, taking one down and then another. But as he finished off the 2 spirit beasts, 2 more spirit beasts came to surround him. If you can't even deal with these spirit beasts, do you still want to participate in the academy competition? Fong Moran said disdainfully. This was only the beginning. Let them adapt first. There would be more spirit beasts in the future. Fong Moran's words greatly agitated these hot-blooded youths and aroused their fighting spirit as well. Soon, they wiped out this group of spirit beasts. But before they could even catch their breath, they heard another series of rumbles. Heavens, is it another group of spirit beasts? Their guess was right. Another group of spirit beasts arrived after the previous group. And this time, the level of these spirit beasts was obviously much higher than the previous one. Kill! Fong Aoran roared and charged forward as the vanguard. Days passed with constant fighting. In General Ling's mansion. Old man Lin, why are you here? Ling Qingtian looked at his old friend in surprise. This old man hadn't been here for several days. Do you know where Ruoshua went? Lin Liang asked directly. Tomorrow was the selection competition, but Ruoshua and the others weren't back yet. Didn't Ruoshua bring those students out for training? I heard that the academy doesn't have a place for them to train, Ling Qingtian said slightly teasingly. In fact, if it weren't for the sake of his old friend, he really wanted to say that he was too useless as the principal. Lin Liang didn't expect the students of the Supreme Hall to be so overbearing. But he also didn't expect Ruoxue to leave the school with the students from the Sacred Hall either. He originally thought that Shuer didn't take the people from the Supreme Hall seriously. In fact, his guess was right. Leng Ruoxue really didn't take the clowns from the Supreme Hall seriously. The reason she brought the Sacred Hall students out to train was mainly that she felt they were too weak. Moreover, going to the forest to experience tests of life and death was much better than simulating training in the academy's training room. There's no rush. They will be back when it's time. Leng Qingtian comforted his old friend. Lin Liang sighed. He could only wait. 10 days later, at night. Chapter 76, Everyone in the Sacred Hall forfeited. Leng Ruoxue and the others stood at the fork in the illusionary forest. Not long later, Feng Das and Feng Moran's teams emerged one after another. Everyone was injured, their clothes tattered and disheveled, but they seemed to be in high spirits. "Miss, we're here," Feng Da shouted excitedly when he saw Leng Ruoxue. "Okay." She was still very relaxed when it came to Feng Da. "Big brother Feng, did everything go smoothly?" Leng Ruoxue asked with concern. "It went smoothly." Feng Moran looked at his disheveled team and smiled. These sheltered students had been exhausted over the past 10 days. "That's good. Although you guys are very tired now, you will know the benefits in the future." Leng Ruoxue looked at the pairs of slightly resentful eyes and comforted them. "Hey, you're still alive." Feng Aoran pulled Xiao Hua aside. "Stinky brat, are you looking for a beating?" "I'm alive and well," Xiao Hua said discontentedly while glaring at Feng Aoran. "How can you say that?" "I'm full of energy." "No, that's not what I meant. I wanted to ask how your devil training went." Feng Aoran was very curious. Their team hadn't had a good night's sleep for the past 10 days. Sometimes, spirit beasts would attack them in the middle of the night. If they were slow to react and were injured, they could only blame their bad luck. Elder brother didn't care at all. His standards were very low. And it was fine as long as they didn't die. Wah! How evil. I don't know how to describe it, Xiao Hua hesitated. After some thought, he added, 1 word, miserable. 2 words, very miserable. 3 words, very, very miserable. Did you encounter any beast groups? Feng Aoran asked curiously. There were, a lot, Xiao Hua said unnaturally. Thinking about the wave after waves of spirit beasts made him want to cry. Woo woo. How many waves a day? I lost count. About once every 2 to 3 hours on average. Feng Aoran was at a loss for words. Elder brother was right. The other team was indeed more miserable than us. Boo-hoo, they were still considered lucky now that he thought about it. Elder brother is so kind. Are you two done chatting? We're going back, Leng Ruoxue shouted while sitting on Quill's back. Everyone else had already sat down except the 2 of them. Okay, we're coming. The 2 of them were a little embarrassed seeing so many eyes looking at them. They hurriedly sat on Quill's back. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Quill flew into the air in the direction of Phoenix City. The competition field of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy was already full of students who came to spectate. All the pre-competition work was ready. Now, they were just waiting to watch the matches. Principal, is the competition starting now? Chen Jian asked on the stage. It would be better if those people don't come back. It's not time yet. What's the hurry? Lin Liang said expressionlessly and calmly, but he was very nervous in his heart. Why isn't that girl back yet? Then we'll wait for the last 10 minutes. If they still don't appear, well treated as if they've forfeited. Qin Jian said gloatingly. Okay. Time passed by 1 minute at a time. Principal, it's the last minute. Qin Jian reminded him after looking at the time. Lin Liang glared at Qin Jian, the words "I don't need you to remind me" clearly written on his face. He kept muttering in his heart, "Come back quickly. Come back quickly." Seeing that there were only a few seconds left, Qin Jian rushed to announce, "Everyone from the Sacred Hall forfeits. The competition begins now." Just as he finished speaking, a giant black eagle descended from the sky, taking up most of the square. And sitting on the eagle were the people from the Sacred Hall. Who said we're forfeiting? The time is just right, Leng Ruoxue said mockingly as she looked at the timer. That's right. Who said we're forfeiting? Feng De chimed in. That's right. We didn't forfeit. There's still 1 second to go, a youth on the eagle said. Hey, do you see that? That eagle seems to be a holy beast, a flying holy beast, someone shouted from the crowd below. Everyone's eyes instantly turned to Quill. Lin Liang looked at the black eagle with a burning gaze. Holy beast? That eagle isn't a holy beast. It's obviously a divine beast. But this eagle was deliberately restraining its might, which was why the others mistook it for a holy beast, but it couldn't hide from him. This girl really surprised him. Okay, quiet down. I hereby announce that the competition has officially begun, Lin Liang said resolutely. This girl is really too bad. She only appeared at the last second. The Heavenly Phoenix Academy was divided into 4 divisions: Spiritualist, Alchemist, Artificer, and Beast Trainer. The Spiritualist divisions were divided into elementary classes, intermediate classes, advanced classes, and the Sacred Hall, and there was an additional Supreme Hall now. The selection competition this time was mainly a competition between spiritualists where students at Spiritual Monarch and above could participate. The top 30 students would qualify to represent the Heavenly Phoenix Academy in the Academy competition held once every 3 years on the Ling Feng continent. The Alchemist, Artificer, and Beast Trainer divisions would choose 1 representative each to participate in the Academy competition. There were around 150 students participating in the selection competition this time, and the duration of the competition was 3 days. The rules of the competition were 2-on-2 battles, with the winners entering the next round and the losers still having 2-on-2 battles. Then the winners would also enter the next round, and the losers would be completely eliminated. The reason for this arrangement was to give everyone another chance and to choose the best talents to represent the Academy in the Academy competition. There were a total of 10 arenas on the competition field. After the host announced the rules and said some words of encouragement, the students who registered for the competition went on stage according to the number plates given to them beforehand. After the first round of preliminaries, a total of 110 students successfully advanced to the next round. After a 2-hour break, the second round of the preliminaries officially began. Students, the second round of the competition is now underway. You are getting closer and closer to the top 30. Do your best. The host gave the stage to the contestants after speaking. Wow! Senior Brother Yi is so handsome, a love-struck girl shouted in the audience. Chapter 77, Who Said We're Forfeiting? After the start of the second round, Yi Chen, who was the first to go on stage, was like a shining beacon, attracting everyone's attention and stealing the limelight. Feeling the craziness of the love-struck women, Leng Ruoxue couldn't help being a little speechless. There were clearly 20 people competing in the 10 arenas, but the others were all blatantly ignored. Congratulations! Everyone from the Sacred Hall has entered the next round, Fu Mingyuan said in a friendly manner as he walked over, displaying his gentlemanly demeanor. What's there to congratulate? It's just the first round. If they can't even pass this, they don't deserve to stay in the Sacred Hall, Leng Ruoxue, who was sitting on the side watching the competition attentively, said disapprovingly. Hey, why are you so rude? Senior Brother Fu came to congratulate you out of goodwill. What's with your attitude? A female fan of senior brother Fu immediately complained, feeling outraged. Did I ask him to come? Leng Ruoxue said with a sneer. She would never be friends with the Fu family. In that case, why bother wasting her time and effort entertaining an irrelevant person? How can a simpleton know any manners? Why bother with her? Chen Fang said mockingly while walking over. Well said. Not only do I, a simpleton, not know any manners, but I also like to hit people when I'm mad. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile that was not a smile. After the match just now, there seemed to be more women looking for trouble with her. You. I won't hold it against a barbaric woman, Chen Fang said angrily and walked away unwillingly. She knew that Fu Mingzhu was beaten up by Leng Ruoxue and had her face scratched by her spirit beast, so she was really a little scared. What's the matter? Yi Chen, who had finished his second round, got off the stage and walked to Leng Ruoxue's side. It's okay. Just a few clowns. It's my turn. Leng Ruoxue walked onto the arena calmly. Her opponent was actually Sun Ting from the Supreme Hall. Leng Ruoxue couldn't help laughing softly when she saw Sun Ting staring at her with jealousy and hatred. She heard that Sun Ting was injured after the freak threw her out of the window. She didn't expect her to recover so quickly. You simpleton, what are you laughing at? Sun Ting said in anger. What? Are the people from the Supreme Hall so overbearing that they don't allow others to laugh? Moreover, you keep saying that I'm a simpleton. Then what are you, who is about to be defeated by a simpleton? Leng Ruoxue deliberately provoked. I won't lose. Sun Ting said confidently. For this selection competition, she had a secret weapon that she didn't want to take out so early. But she didn't mind exposing it in advance to teach this simpleton a lesson. A long black whip appeared in Sun Ting's hand. The body of the whip was pitch black, and it faintly carried a fierce aura, as though a black dragon was roving around. Her whip immediately attracted everyone's attention. It's a sacred artifact, someone shouted as soon as the whip appeared. This is the Dragon Roar Whip. Lin Liang exclaimed in surprise. He didn't expect Sun Ting to take out her family heirloom. It seems Sun Ting is determined to win this match. The Sun family has really put in a lot of effort. I wonder if Ruoxue can handle it. A sacred artifact? The Sun family is only a medium-sized family, but they actually have a sacred artifact in their possession. Why has no one snatched it? Leng Ruoxue thought in her mind some evil intentions. What she didn't know was that many people had designs on this whip in the past. But the genius ancestor of the Sun family who refined this whip had integrated the bloodline of the Sun family into it. Except for those who had the blood of the Sun family, no one else could use it, so this whip had been handed down generation after generation. Leng Ruoxue, you're dead meat. Sun Ting said through gritted teeth. She infused her spiritual power into the whip and swung it fiercely at Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue turned her body slightly, and the whip brushed past her. She looked at Sun Ting provocatively. It's my turn now. A sword appeared in Leng Ruoxue's hand. The blade was thin and transparent like crystal and was constantly releasing fierce cold air. Lin Liang's pupils constricted. This girl also has a sacred artifact in her hands, and its grade is clearly higher than the Dragon Roar Whip. He could already feel the Dragon Roar Whip trembling slightly. It seemed like his worries were in vain. Behold my flame feather. Leng Ruoxue infused fire attribute spiritual power into the sword, raised her wrist, and released the flame feather along the tip of her sword. It shot at Sun Ting like a burning feather. Sun Ting dodged the exquisite and cute flame feather shooting at her easily with a few slick moves. Is this all that your flame feather can do? Sun Ting mocked. You'll know when you try, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. This was the first time she was using the improved flame feather. Although it was only an advanced spiritual skill, its might was not inferior to a heavenly spiritual skill. Whoever dared to look down on this small feather would be dead for sure. Ah! How is this possible? Not long after Sun Ting gloated, she saw the small feather she dodged turn back toward her and splitting into two. Then 2 became 4, 4 became 8, multiplying endlessly. She wanted to dodge but couldn't, and numerous small feathers even burned her body. Although the sparks were small, they were very painful. The small and cute feathers also entangled her whip. Before long, the whip actually burned into ashes, and Sun Ting fainted from the pain. Everyone watched this scene with their mouths agape. When did this flame feather become so powerful? Even a sacred artifact was burned to ashes. Heavens, it's really too terrifying. That was a sacred artifact. If all these flames had burned her body, Sun Ting probably wouldn't have just simply fainted. Lin Liang looked at Leng Ruoxue speechlessly. Lass, can you not cause such a stir? Can't you keep a low profile? Did I win? Leng Ruoxue looked at the dumbfounded referee. You won, the referee said hurriedly after recovering from the shock. His forehead was covered in cold sweat because he had personally felt the power of the small flames just now. It was really too terrifying, and he still had lingering fears. Chapter 78, New Rules of the Selection Competition. 1. Leng Ruoxue didn't care about the way everyone was looking at her, as if they saw a monster, as she walked off the stage calmly to rest. Miss, why don't you just burn that annoying Sun Ting to death? Feng De couldn't help asking. Students should care for and love one another. How can you be so cruel to your own classmate? Leng Ruoxue said very kindly while giving Feng De a knock on the head. Miss is right to lecture me, Feng De said with a dark face. When did Miss become a saint? But for some people, letting them live is more painful than death, Leng Ruoxue added. Miss is wise, Feng De said flatteringly. This is the Miss I know. When has our Shuer not been wise? Yichen walked over with a plate of fruits. You must be tired. Here, have some fruit and let husband give you a massage, Yichen said considerately. This is the best time to take advantage. So exciting. Leng Ruoxue's face darkened. This freak. Big brother Yi. A gentle voice suddenly sounded in their ears just as Yichen was trying to take advantage of her by massaging her. Leng Ruoxue raised her head slightly and saw that Su Nair had appeared in front of them without them noticing. This woman actually came here while the 7th prince was competing on stage, and she even addressed him as Big Brother Yi. Leng Ruoxue felt her hair stand on end when she heard this sappy address. Please don't call me Big Brother Yi. You don't have the right, Yichen said with displeasure. Why does the way this woman look at me make me want to beat her up so badly? Our families have been friends for a long time, Su Nair said aggrievedly. Tears flashed in her beautiful eyes, making her look pitiful. I'm sorry. The Yi family you mentioned has nothing to do with me. What he implied was that she shouldn't try to claim connections with him. Let's go back, Big Brother Yi. Leng Ruoxue said when she saw that everyone from the sacred hall had finished competing. She even deliberately emphasized the words Big Brother Yi. No, freak still feels more suitable. Okay, let's go back early and rest early. Yichen said suggestively. Why does Shuer's Big Brother Yi sound so nice? He couldn't help feeling elated thinking about it. The two of them ignored Su Nair and left. Jealousy gnawing at heart, Su Nair looked at their backs with resentful eyes. I don't believe that I'm inferior to a simpleton. There's no man in this world that I can't have. I won't let that simpleton go. The two of them rode on Quill and soon returned to the general's mansion. Shuer, why are you two back so early? Isn't it the selection competition today? Where are Feng De and the others? Leng Qingtian asked curiously when he saw his granddaughter. Our matches were over, so we came back early. Feng De and the others are still watching the liveliness, Leng Ruoxue explained. What were the results? Leng Qingtian asked. His granddaughter only asked Charm to tell him that she had left for the competition without even returning home. There's not much suspense for the first 2 rounds. About 2/3 of the people from the Sacred Hall will enter the next round. That's already very impressive. Okay, Grandpa, I'm tired. I'm going back to my room to sleep. Okay, go ahead. Leng Qingtian knew that his granddaughter must be exhausted from the past few days. Freak, go back to your room and sleep too. Leng Ruoxue said to Yi Chen when they arrived at the Listening Snow Pavilion. Shuer, you called me Big Brother Yi just now. Yi Chen reminded her. You damn freak, quickly go to sleep. Leng Ruoxue roared and went straight to her room. Say. Big Brother Yi again. You might as well kill me. Standing foolishly in the yard, Yi Chen watched as Shuer entered her room. Shuer's nicknames are always so different, but I like it. On the second day of the selection competition, Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived at the competition venue early. But after entering the venue, they found that the number of spectators today seemed to be much more than yesterday. Moreover, all of them were brimming with enthusiasm, and the atmosphere was rather fiery. After yesterday's matches, a total of 83 students entered the 3rd round of the preliminaries. Today is the last day of the preliminaries, so today's matches will be more intense. Everyone, do your best. The host encouraged as usual before the official competition. Shuer, 60 students from our Sacred Hall entered the 3rd round yesterday, Feng Moran said happily. That's normal. How could they not defeat the sheltered students after spending 10 days in the dangerous illusionary forest? Moreover, she didn't want them to be satisfied with just entering the 3rd round. Leng Ruoxue's match today was relatively easy. But as soon as she entered the stage, her opponent admitted defeat. She couldn't help but be a little speechless. Am I that scary? Today was the last round of the preliminaries. The battles should have been very intense, but it was just the opposite. Especially for the students of the Sacred Hall, they often determined victory or defeat with a single move. And if both competitors were from the Sacred Hall, it usually only took a few seconds to decide the outcome because there would always be someone admitting defeat. This made the referee very speechless. After the 3rd round finished, a total of 50 students entered the final round, of which only 5 were from the Supreme Hall, while the rest were from the Sacred Hall. Even though the entire selection competition had not officially ended, it was already obvious that the Sacred Hall would win by a landslide. Congratulations. Fu Mingyuan walked over again. Although the results of the competition made him a little depressed, he still walked over to congratulate them in a gentlemanly manner. Thank you. I heard that the rules will change in the final round. I hope to have the chance to compete with you, Leng Ruoxue said politely. She was very satisfied with today's results. I'm looking forward to it too. On the 3rd day of the selection competition. Because it was the Academy's internal selection competition, everyone here to watch was a student of the Academy, and it was also the largest audience in the 3 days. Dear students, the selection competition is becoming more and more intense. We will know who is qualified to represent our Academy to participate in the Academy competition after today. Let us wait and see, the host said, trying to stir up emotions in addition to his usual encouragement. Chapter 79, New Rules of the Selection Competition, 2. Today's matches will adopt the format of challenges. You can advance as long as you defeat 5 people, no matter if you are the challenger or the challenged. Similarly, those who fail 5 times will lose their qualifications, the host explained the rules of today's competition. What does that mean? Feng Moran was puzzled. It means that we have a chance to chase everyone from the Supreme Hall out of the top 30, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. Leng Ruoxue's words made everyone's blood boil with excitement. Next, let us welcome our first challenger. Xiao Ting, come here. Leng Ruoxue whispered a few words in Xiaoting's ears since he was the first to go on stage. Then Xiaoting walked to the center of the stage confidently. The first person I want to challenge is senior sister Chen Fang, Xiaoting said calmly. Don't regret it, Chen Fang said disdainfully. Humph, how dare this poor boy challenge me? Senior sister, please. Xiaoting smiled. Chen Fang took the lead to swing her sword at Xiaoting, and the water attributes spiritual power in her sword rushed toward Xiaoting. Xiaoting smiled calmly and gently blocked Chen Fang's attack with the earth element's spiritual skill in his hand. Then he turned his hand and gently released an advanced water element spiritual skill at Chen Fang. Chen Fang couldn't dodge in time and was hit directly. Chen Fang swallowed the blood in her mouth and looked at Xiaoting defiantly. No, that's impossible. I am among the top 10 in the academy. How can I be defeated by an unknown poor boy with one move? I still have my spirit beast. Chen Fang said forcefully. She didn't intend to admit defeat and summoned her spirit beast, a level 1 holy beast, a Babel long-armed ape. In fact, spirit beasts were not allowed in either the Academy's selection competition or the Academy competition. This was for the sake of fairness and also to protect the safety of students. After all, even if the students who could participate in the Academy competition were not geniuses, they were elites of prominent families. It would be very troublesome if there was really an accident, and Chen Fang's use of her spirit beasts had obviously violated the rules of the competition. Leng Ruoxue stood below the stage, her beautiful eyes glancing indifferently at the referee who ignored the violations. Fortunately, she had prepared. Otherwise. Spirit beast? I have one too. Xiaoting smiled elegantly and summoned his spirit beast, a level 5 holy beast, a lightning leopard. The leader had even helped him contract this holy beast. Chen Fang was dumbfounded. This is impossible. How is this possible? How can this poor guy's spirit beast be better than mine? Senior sister, do you still want to compete? Xiaoting smiled confidently. The bright smile on his face was a sharp contrast to Chen Fang's dejection. I admit defeat. Chen Fang was stunned for a long time. In the end, she had to admit defeat. She knew that she had lost too much dignity this time. In addition to Fu Mingyuan and Chen Fang, Li Yu, Su Nair, and Wang Wei from the Supreme Hall also entered the finals. After Xiaoting challenged Chen Fang, he challenged Li Yu, Su Nair, and Wang Wei in succession. He also challenged the weakest student from the Sacred Hall. After defeating them, he was the first to enter the top 30. Thereafter, the students from the Sacred Hall went on stage consecutively, challenged their opponents according to Leng Ruoxue's plan, and successfully entered the top 30. After losing 5 times in a row, Wang Wei was the first to be eliminated. He didn't even have the chance to challenge anyone. Immediately afterward, Su Nair and Li Yu were eliminated. Only Fu Mingyuan and Chen Fang remained from the Supreme Hall. Fu Mingyuan survived because no one had challenged him yet, and Chen Fang was facing elimination at any time since she had lost 4 times already. Seeing this situation, even a fool understood. But even if they understood, there was nothing they could do because Fu Mingyuan's and Chen Fang's appearance numbers were at the back. They had no chance to challenge anyone, so they could only watch as the people from the Supreme Hall were eliminated one by one. Principal, this competition isn't fair. Chen Jian stood up from his seat angrily and said anxiously. How is it not fair? Lin Liang pretended to be puzzled. This girl is really ruthless. Seems like she doesn't plan on letting anyone from the Supreme Hall obtain a quota. The rules of the competition are unfair. Some students don't even have a chance to challenge others. How can they be eliminated just like that? Chen Jian said angrily. Vice Principal, are you referring to the students from the Supreme Hall? Elder Chiu asked with a smile. Vice Principal Chen, you were very supportive of this rule at first, and now you're saying that it's unfair. How can you convince the students if you go back on your word like this? Lin Liang scolded. He knew that Chen Jian was willing to agree to this rule because he believed in the strength of the students from the Supreme Hall. But the current situation was contrary to his expectations, causing his anxiety. But it was too late now. After Chen Fang was swept out of the competition, Fu Mingyuan was the only one left from the entire Supreme Hall. His heart in knots, Fu Mingyuan looked at the stunningly beautiful girl with a complicated expression. Was she really a simpleton before? Or was she pretending from the start? He had many doubts, but he knew very well that their Supreme Hall had suffered a crushing defeat in this competition. Feng Moran, Mu Li, Yi Chen, and Feng De went on stage one after another and challenged Fu Mingyuan. They won 4 consecutive matches and successfully entered the top 30. I want to challenge Leng Ruoxue, Fu Mingyuan said. It was finally his turn to go on stage. He had lost 4 times, and there happened to be 5 people on stage including him, but there was only one spot. Fu Mingyuan knew very well that Leng Ruoxue was his biggest opponent among the 5, so only by defeating Leng Ruoxue could he have a chance to enter the top 30. I accept the challenge. Leng Ruoxue walked directly to the center of the stage. She had deliberately brought about this result. Otherwise, Fu Mingyuan would not have stayed until the end. Leng Ruoxue looked at her opponent, Fu Mingyuan, one of the 3 great geniuses of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, whose strength was on par with Feng Aoran's. He was an advanced spiritual monarch and one of her brother's few friends. Unfortunately, because of Fu Mingzhu, they would never become friends. Chapter 80, Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire, 1, After You. Fu Mingyuan said. As a man, he should be gracious to women. Then I won't hold back. Of course, she didn't need to use her full strength against Fu Mingyuan. What she valued more was combat experience, and fighting against people and spirit beasts was totally different. Leng Ruoxue raised her sword and lightly swung it. A sharp white sword beam flew toward Fu Mingyuan. The sword beam was extremely fast, and its momentum was majestic, causing the pressure on him to double. Fu Mingyuan was shocked and didn't dodge in time. A cut appeared on his arm. He didn't expect this sword beam to be so fierce. If spiritual power had been infused into this sword beam, his arm would have probably been crippled. At this point, he couldn't help but be on full alert. Now, he already listed Leng Ruoxue as his most dangerous opponent, and this aroused his intense fighting spirit. Fu Mingyuan was good at using sabers, and the saber in his hand was considered a family heirloom of the Fu family. The saber was light and sharp, not very wide, and the handle was about the length of 2 adult palms. With the hand holding his saber, Fu Mingyuan lightly raised his wrist and unleashed a saber technique to shoot powerful water attribute spiritual power at Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue raised her sword and gently blocked it. An enormous amount of spiritual power neutralized Fu Mingyuan's spiritual power. Then she turned her hand and added some fire attribute spiritual power into her sword move. A dazzling red beam stabbed at Fu Mingyuan, who quickly dodged it. In this way, the two of them fought for dozens of rounds. Leng Ruoxue was relaxed throughout, but Fu Mingyuan found it more and more strenuous to fight. I lost. Fu Mingyuan took the initiative to admit defeat. He knew very well that Leng Ruoxue hadn't used her full strength. Afterward, the remaining 4 people on the stage also admitted defeat, and Leng Ruoxue successfully entered the top 30. After entering the top 30, there was supposed to be a ranking competition according to the Academy's arrangement. But all 30 students, including Leng Ruoxue, forfeited, so the ranking competition was cancelled. Chen Jian had no chance to do anything even if he wanted to. Lin Liang looked at the final result with satisfaction and was elated. This is great. As soon as the selection competition was over, the anxious Lin Liang dragged Leng Ruoxue to the principal's office. Ruoxue, tell Grandpa Lin. How did you train them? Lin Liang asked curiously. From the moment these students returned, he could tell that they were different from before. They had more aggressiveness, and he already saw the imposing manner of powerhouses from them. This was something that the students in the academy didn't have. He didn't ask earlier because they had been competing, and he finally had the chance to ask now that the competition was over. Grandpa Lin, as long as you are willing to throw the students of the academy into the illusionary forest for a month, they will also have such strength and aggressiveness, Lin Ruoxue teased. Lin Liang didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he looked at Lin Ruoxue. This stinky girl said that even though she knows I can't bear to do it. Ruoxue, how about Grandpa Lin hands those students over to you, and you can bring them to the illusionary forest? Lin Liang said cunningly. Hee, you will have to be responsible for their safety if you bring them. I don't want to be a nanny. Lin Ruoxue rolled her eyes at Lin Liang as she cut off his thoughts with a few words. Grandpa Lin, I heard that the academy will have a training exercise in a few days. Lin Ruoxue asked. Yes, the academy arranges a lot of training exercises at this time every year, Lin Liang explained. The people on the list should be going, right? Lin Ruoxue asked. This was what she was more concerned about. Moreover, she had been waiting for an opportunity. She also heard from her grandfather that the Fu family had already obtained crystal honey, so Fu Ming's injury should have healed. Ruoxue, Grandpa Lin, I want everyone on the list to participate in this training exercise. Lin Ruoxue said unquestionably. It's time to settle the score with those people. Okay, I will arrange it, Lin Liang said helplessly. While he didn't know how Ruoxue was going to take revenge on those people, he could guess that they were going to be in trouble. After the selection competition, Lin Ruoxue gave the people from the Sacred Hall a 5-day break. After 5 days, they would set off for Lunar Capital, the capital of the Southern Dusk Empire, to participate in the academy competition. Thus, Lin Ruoxue had to finish what she wanted to do before leaving. Taking advantage of the dark and windy night, 2 humans and 2 beasts sneaked into a luxurious mansion. Quill, scout the way for us, Lin Ruoxue ordered. Yes. Shuer, are we here on a date? Yi Chen's eyes were glittering as he asked with anticipation. Would you go to other people's houses for a date? Lin Ruoxue glared at the freak and asked rhetorically. Then why are we here? Yi Chen asked innocently. His beautiful face was full of confusion, and his bright black eyes were as clear as water. Of course, to do something bad since we're sneaking into someone's house in the middle of the night, Lin Ruoxue said without blushing or skipping a beat. Does this damn freak need to be so cute? I really want to pinch him. Shuer, why are you pinching me? Yi Chen looked at Lin Ruoxue aggrievedly, as though he was about to cry. Hee, after days of observation, I discovered that Shuer can't resist me when I act like this. So of course I have to do what she likes. Ah. I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. Lin Ruoxue retracted her hand awkwardly. Why didn't my hands listen to me? They actually went on to that freakishly handsome face by themselves. But it felt really good, and his skin is very smooth. I know. You did it on purpose, Yi Chen said with certainty, his face full of pride. Shuer touched me of her own accord. Damn freak, Lin Ruoxue's face darkened in embarrassment. Shuer, I will be yours sooner or later. You can touch me however you want, Yi Chen said very generously with a beaming smile. You, Charm, who had been lying in Lin Ruoxue's arms, couldn't listen anymore. He simply covered his ears with his little paws. This person is really too mushy. Master, I found it. Quill, who went to scout the way, returned and resolved Lin Ruoxue's embarrassment at the right time. Quill, lead the way. Master, come with me. Quill changed to the size of a small bird and flew in front while Lin Ruoxue and Yi Chen followed closely behind. Chapter 81, Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire, 2, the 2 humans and 2 beasts knocked out all the guards they encountered and came to a courtyard. Master, it's here. Bang! What's this? It tastes disgusting. Make another one. Miss, before Leng Ruoxue and the others approached the room, they heard the sound of things being smashed and Fu Mingzhu scolding a maidservant. Then the door opened, and the maidservant walked out. Leng Ruoxue and the others quickly hid in the dark. After the maidservant walked away, Leng Ruoxue immediately pushed open the door of Fu Mingzhu's room and walked in while she set up a barrier at the same time. Why are you back so soon? It's you. Fu Mingzhu looked up only to see Leng Ruoxue. She glared at Leng Ruoxue with intense hatred and jealousy. Miss Fu, do you still remember me? Leng Ruoxue said indifferently as her beautiful eyes stared at Fu Mingzhu's beautiful face. It seems that the crystal honey was effective. There aren't any scars left at all. Humph. I do remember you even if you turned to ashes. Fu Mingzhu said resentfully. She had always wanted to seek revenge on this simpleton, but now Leng Ruoxue actually came knocking on her door. Fu Mingzhu absolutely hated Leng Ruoxue, especially after knowing the latter's identity. The discrepancy in her heart was so great that she couldn't accept what happened at all, so it was even harder for her to tolerate Leng Ruoxue's existence. And that stinky fox actually dared to scratch her face. If not for her father trying his best to get her some crystal honey, her beautiful appearance would have been ruined. Humph. After I deal with Leng Ruoxue, I'll go deal with that damn fox. I didn't expect to leave such a deep impression on you. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Fu Mingzhu's hatred was written all over her face. Compared with Su Nair, she was far too naive. It was apparent from this that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. The more delicate a woman looked, the more inconspicuously malicious she would be. Of course. Fu Mingzhu gritted her teeth hatefully. And you actually have the audacity to come to my house. Fu Mingzhu smiled sinisterly as a hint of cunning flashed in her eyes. Since you're here, don't even think about going back. Why not? Is your home a tiger's den? Why can't I come? Leng Ruoxue's face was full of confusion. Yes, of course you can come. But you're going to regret it. At this point, Fu Mingzhu was too busy thinking about how she would take revenge that she never thought about how Leng Ruoxue had gotten in and why she was here. That's good. Leng Ruoxue seemed to be relieved. Guards! There's an assassin! Fu Mingzhu suddenly shouted. Leng Ruoxue was speechless. Fu Mingzhu is so slow-witted. Only now do you realize that you need help. What a disappointing reaction. Take a break. Don't tire yourself out. Leng Ruoxue felt that she was too considerate. You're dead meat. The guards will be here soon, Fu Mingzhu said smugly. Is that so? Shall we see if you're going to die first, or am I going to die first? Leng Ruoxue teased her like a cat chasing a mouse. Why you? Do you even dare to touch me? My father won't let you off, Fu Mingzhu threatened. I really want to try. But it wouldn't be my style if I let you die too easily. Killing the enemy directly was simple, but it was not easy to make the enemy suffer and wish they were dead. She preferred to strike her opponents mentally. What do you want? Fu Mingzhu suddenly felt a little scared. Why aren't they here yet? It's been so long. Don't be scared. I won't kill you, Leng Ruoxue coaxed. I just want to. Leng Ruoxue took out a pill, quickly forced Fu Mingzhu's mouth open, and threw the pill inside. What did you feed me? Fu Mingzhu was shocked. She hurriedly tried to use her fingers to dig out the pill from her throat, but it had dissolved as soon as it entered her mouth. Of course, it's something good for your body. She had specially concocted this pill for Fu Mingzhu, and it had taken her a lot of effort to find the pill formula. Really? Although Fu Mingzhu had doubts, her glare gradually died down. Yes, of course, Leng Ruoxue promised. The academy has a training exercise tomorrow. Go early and don't be late, Leng Ruoxue reminded. Okay, I'll be there early, Fu Mingzhu answered obediently as her eyes became gentler and gentler. Good. Go to bed now, Leng Ruoxue reminded her. Okay, I'll sleep now. Fu Mingzhu lay directly on her bed. Seems like the pill is effective. Leng Ruoxue pondered and left the room. Shuer, are you done? Yichen quietly asked when he saw Shuer come out. Done. Then where are we going now? Let's go home and sleep. Aren't you going to take a tour of the Prime Minister's mansion? Okay, let's take a look. With that, the two humans and two beasts began to tour the Prime Minister's mansion like it were their own backyard. Tisk, tsk. A Prime Minister is actually so rich. Look at the furnishings. How much money has he embezzled? Yichen commented as he walked. The 5 great families are probably just like this. I've decided, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. What have you decided? Yichen looked at Shuer doubtfully. I've decided to seek revenge for the people and rob him. It would be a waste not to rob such a corrupt official. Yes, I like robbing, Yichen said excitedly. Robbing was his most enjoyable pastime. Quill, go and find where the Fu family's treasury is. Quill's eagle eyes were much better than radar, and he could even see farther. Master, come with me, Quill said helplessly. After he advanced to Divine Beast, he had obtained the skill, X-ray vision. But his master only used it to look for things. Woo! Master, don't you think it's overkill? Quill led them to an inconspicuous room. Master, this is the treasury. Are you sure? Why does this room look like a servant's room? Quill nodded. He was certain of it. It's locked. An artificer should have refined this lock, and it couldn't be opened without the password. I'll do it. Yichen took out a thin metal wire from who knows where and poked it into the lock a few times. With a pop, the lock opened. Chapter 82, Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire, 3. This freak actually has this ability. Leng Ruoxue stared at him in astonishment for a few seconds. Shuer, I'll get shy if you keep looking at me like that. Yichen's heart was racing as he reminded her. Let's go in. Leng Ruoxue looked away awkwardly. After entering, they discovered that even though the outside of the treasury was inconspicuous, it was a whole different world inside. It seemed that this Prime Minister Fu was quite good at hiding things. There were 3 rooms in the treasury. Leng Ruoxue, Yichen, and Charm split up, and each of them was responsible for looting one room. After looting everything, they quickly left the treasury. Shuer, Prime Minister Fu's study should be in front, right? Yichen guessed that they were already in the main courtyard. Probably. The main courtyard isn't guarded? Yichen was surprised. Not in the open, but in the dark. Quill and Charm already knocked them out, Leng Ruoxue explained. Oh. In the study, Prime Minister Fu said to a man in black gloomily, Sir, no one in the Supreme Hall made it to the top 30 through the Heavenly Phoenix Academy selection competition. This has completely messed up our plan. It's okay. Even if they've been selected, they might not have the chance to participate in this competition, the man in black said nonchalantly. Sir, you mean, you don't have to worry about this matter. Just do your part well, the man in black said coldly. Yes. Sir, Leng Ruoxue is General Leng's most beloved granddaughter. Do you think, what's the big deal about General Leng? He's only a person, no matter how powerful he is. How can our patriarch be afraid of him? It's only a matter of time before we deal with him, the black-clothed person said confidently. Damn it. Not only do they want to deal with me, but they also wanted to deal with Grandpa. Fortunately, they came to the right study. Otherwise, she wouldn't have known that people were scheming against her and her family. At this point, Leng Ruoxue, who was hiding in the dark, had a flash of killing intent in her beautiful eyes. "Shuer, let's leave first and discuss further," Yi Chen reminded her. Leng Ruoxue nodded. They jumped onto Quill's back and disappeared into the night. After talking to Prime Minister Fu, the man in black left the Prime Minister's mansion. "Who are you?" the man in black vigilantly asked the two humans and two beasts who suddenly appeared in front of him. He couldn't sense their strength at all. "You'll know when you reach hell," a cold voice reached the black-robed man's ears. "Aha!" A scream resounded in the darkness. "Misty Woods, the territory of fire rhinoceroses, will they come?" Yi Chen asked curiously while looking at Leng Ruoxue. He and Shuer were here very early to wait for them. Well, no later. Before coming, she had instructed Quill to drug the team. The drug could cause hallucinations. After the previous incident, she knew that they would definitely want to avoid the fire rhinoceroses' territory. But she wanted them to come to her door on their own accord. Moreover, she had sprinkled another drug on the road to the fire rhinoceroses' territory. The two drugs happened to work together and attracted each other, so they had no choice but to come. Leng Ruoxue and Yi Chen waited in the fire rhinoceroses' territory for a while before the people caught in the trap arrived. When they arrived at the fire rhinoceroses' territory, the drug that Leng Ruoxue administered to them just happened to become effective. "Why are you here, simpleton?" Fu Mingzhu questioned Leng Ruoxue, her eyes full of hatred. "Why can't I be here?" Leng Ruoxue asked back. It was time for the effects of Fu Mingzhu's drug to wear off, and she had completely forgotten what happened last night. "Then there's only the two of you here." "Humph, a man and a woman alone, how shameless." Fu Mingzhu said disdainfully. Obviously, she had forgotten how she had chased after this man back then. "Isn't there still you guys? There are many spirit beasts here as well." Leng Ruoxue said with a spurious smile. "Where is this?" At this moment, the expression of one of the teachers leading the team changed. "Didn't we deliberately avoid the fire rhinoceroses' territory? Why did we come here again? What's the matter?" Elder Wang asked in puzzlement. "This is the territory of the fire rhinoceroses." "Are you sure?" Elder Wang asked. Fire rhinoceroses were very barbaric spirit beasts that even spiritual supremacies were unwilling to provoke. "Yes, it was this place the last time," a teacher whispered. "Leave this place quickly," Elder Wang said decisively. Spirit beasts were all very vengeful. "Everyone, leave this place immediately," one of the teachers shouted. "Leave? It's too late," Leng Ruoxue said lightly. "Leng Ruoxue, what do you mean?" Elder Wang asked calmly. "Elder Wang, haven't you noticed that this place has already been surrounded by fire rhinoceroses?" As Leng Ruoxue finished speaking, the fire rhinoceros king led its subordinates swaggering out from behind the trees. "It's her. She was the one who stole our fire rhinoceros fruits." The fire rhinoceros king pointed at Fu Mingzhu. It was this damn woman who attracted the jinx to them, so he really hated this woman to death. "So it was really you," Leng Ruoxue said coldly. In fact, she had guessed long ago that Fu Mingzhu might be the one who stole the fire rhinoceros fruits and provoked the fire rhinoceroses. Probably no one else had the capability to bribe everyone to give the same false testimony. "Me? I didn't," Fu Mingzhu denied guiltily. She would never admit it, even if she died. "It doesn't matter whether you admit it or not. What's important is that none of you can leave this place today," Leng Ruoxue said with bloodlust, her eyes full of killing intent. "What do you want to do?" Elder Wang pretended to be calm. "To avenge my elder brother, of course." "You. Don't be rash. If the academy gets wind of this, it won't let you off," Elder Wang threatened. He didn't know why these fire rhinoceroses listened to Leng Ruoxue, but he could only use the academy to pressure her now. Dead people can't talk, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Who's going to tell me why you falsely accused my brother? Leng Ruoxue looked at the students who were trembling in fear. Chapter 83, Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire, 4, What? Is no one willing to clear my doubts? Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes looked at everyone present. Can you let me go if I tell you? I was forced as well, Mo Li said timidly. You don't have the qualifications to negotiate with me. Leng Ruoxue said disdainfully. Let me guess. After Fu Mingzhu angered the fire rhinoceroses, you encountered my brother while running for your lives. My brother saved you but was seriously injured himself. But a certain culprit was afraid that General Leng would know the truth and asked you to provide false testimony. This way, even though he was livid, there was nothing he could do because it was his grandson who caused the trouble and it wasn't your fault, right? Leng Ruoxue roughly said what she had guessed. Afterward, Chen Jian used this incident as a tool to attack Principal Lin, and my brother became the target of ridicule, Leng Ruoxue added. You're right. Prime Minister Fu forced us to say it this way, one of the teachers said. What did he say to you? Leng Ruoxue asked. He said that we wouldn't be able to escape the blame of the Academy's #1 genius becoming a cripple. General Leng and the principal wouldn't let us go, so we had to push the blame onto Leng Ruhan. He also said that he would settle the other things. We didn't want to agree at first, but he used our families to threaten us. In fact, he was the one who was most afraid that General Leng and the principal would find trouble, the teacher said. Seeing as you're telling the truth, I'll let you die a quick death. With that, Leng Ruoxue released her spiritual power, and the teacher collapsed onto the ground, dead. Are you resentful? Resent Fu Mingzhu if you must. She's the one who harmed you, Leng Ruoxue said coldly to the group of terrified students. Wait. I'm Elder Wang. I didn't participate in what happened that time. Can you let me go? Elder Wang begged without any backbone. What do you think? You must have participated in my brother's downfall. Leng Ruoxue smiled mockingly. If he wasn't Chen Jian's subordinate, he wouldn't have been sent to lead the team today. Fire Rhinoceros King, your chance to atone for your mistakes has arrived. Perform well. Leng Ruoxue couldn't be bothered with them and glanced at the Fire Rhinoceros King. Attack, the Fire Rhinoceros King ordered. His subordinates swarmed forward. Elder Wang and the others didn't even have the strength to fight back before they were drowned by nearly 10,000 fire rhinoceroses. Leng Ruoxue glanced at the fire rhinoceroses that were tearing through the forest like a hot knife through butter. Then she threw a pill to the Fire Rhinoceros King before leaving the forest with Yi Chen. General Leng's mansion, Listening Snow Pavilion, Shuer, you will be going to Lunar Capital in a few days. Grandpa prepared these things for you. Take them with you. Leng Qingtian said worriedly as he handed his granddaughter a ring. Grandpa, I don't lack anything. You didn't need to prepare anything, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly as she looked at the things in the ring. Why did Grandpa prepare so much food? Bring them along with you. The journey is quite far. Leng Qingtian said. Phoenix City was quite a distance away from Lunar Capital, and the journey was not very smooth. There were many sections that were very remote, and there was no place to stay at all, much less food. Okay. Leng Ruoxue didn't want her grandfather to worry since it was a token of his concern. Miss, the academy sent someone over. The principal is looking for you, Fengde said directly as he walked in. Grandpa, I'm going. Get going. After arriving at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, Leng Ruoxue went straight to the principal's office. Grandpa Lin, what's the matter? Leng Ruoxue asked. Ruoxue, do you know that the students and Elder Wang who went out for training that day haven't returned yet? Lin Liang probed. Yes, I've heard. Grandpa Lin, the forest has always been full of dangers. Isn't it common for teams that go for training to meet some powerful spirit beast and be completely wiped out? There's no need to worry so much. Leng Ruoxue comforted. That's true, Lin Liang said helplessly. This girl is actually playing dumb with me. Ruoxue, I called you here for something important. What? You must get first place in this year's academy competition. Lin Liang said very seriously. Is there something special about this academy competition? Leng Ruoxue guessed. Yes. Have you heard of the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm? Lin Liang asked mysteriously. No. The Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm is a naturally formed treasure land. There are countless heavenly materials and earthly treasures, holy beasts, and divine beasts in it. It only appears once every 1,000 years, and only 200 people are allowed to enter each time. The origin of the Academy competition is to fight for the spots to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm. The Academy competition has been continuing even though the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm opens only once every 1,000 years. It happens to be the 1,000th year this year, so this year's competition is critical. You can obtain 50 spots to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm if you obtain first place, Lin Liang explained. 50 spots. Sounds very attractive, Leng Ruoxue said without much interest. She had the Heaven and Earth bracelet, so this Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm wasn't very attractive to her. Of course it's attractive. Do you know how many spiritual supremacies want to obtain a spot? There are many divine beasts inside. If you can contract one, you will be able to do whatever you want on the Ling Feng continent. It is said that there are also precious medicinal herbs and heavenly materials inside that can help people advance to spiritual deity, Lin Liang said with yearning. Once in 1,000 years, but not everyone had such an opportunity. 1. Grandpa Lin, what benefits will we get if we can come first in this academy competition? Leng Ruoxue asked. She didn't want to give others the chance to benefit. She had always been selfish, so of course she had to benefit herself. If you can obtain first place, then all of the participating students will automatically obtain the qualifications to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm, Lin Liang said. He knew what this girl was thinking, so he explained it to her in advance so that she could have peace of mind. What about the other spots? Leng Ruoxue asked. She didn't want the spots that she worked hard to obtain to benefit the people she hated. Chapter 84, Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire, 5. The Academy will distribute the other spots, Lin Liang said honestly. This was the tradition of the major academies. I want 10 of the remaining spots. The rest can be given to the academy, Leng Ruoxue said. She had to state her conditions first so that there would not be any disputes later. Okay, I agree, Lin Liang said helplessly. He knew that she would definitely not try her best if he didn't agree. This girl was not Ruhan. She had no sense of belonging to the academy. I will arrange for Elder Chiu to accompany you this time. Thank you, Grandpa Lin. She quite liked Elder Chiu. After talking with Grandpa Lin, Leng Ruoxue returned to the general's mansion without delay. Shuer, what did old man Lin want you for? Leng Qingtian asked hurriedly when he saw his granddaughter return. Nothing. Grandpa, have you heard of the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm? Leng Ruoxue asked. Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm? Is that Mystic Realm is about to appear again? Leng Qingtian said with a face full of shock. Practically all powerhouses like them knew the legend of the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm. But very few could wait until then. Moreover, the spots to enter the Mystic Realm had always been in the hands of the major academies, and it was impossible for outsiders to obtain them. Yes. Grandpa Lin told me to get first place at all costs because first will obtain 50 spots to enter the Creek of Affinity Mystic Realm, Leng Ruoxue explained. Won't the competition this time be very intense then? Shuer, you have to be careful. The Lunar Shadow Academy is capable of all sorts of despicable things. The venue for the competition this time is at the Lunar Shadow Academy. I'm sure they will do everything to win, Ling Qingtian said worriedly. Grandpa, don't worry. I'll be careful, Ling Ruoxue comforted. Grandpa, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going to see Big Brother. Go on. When Ling Ruoxue arrived at the cold tea pavilion, she happened to see her brother packing. Big Brother, what are you doing? Ling Ruoxue watched curiously as her brother busied himself while the white tiger couple lay on the ground, acting lovey-dovey. Packing. Why are you packing? Where's Ming'an? We will be leaving Phoenix City tomorrow. Of course, we have to pack, Ling Ruhan said matter-of-factly. Big Brother, don't tell me you want to go to Lunar Capital with me. Yes, I want to go with you. I won't feel at ease if you go alone, Ling Ruhan said. He knew that Shuer had the Heaven and Earth bracelet, so he wanted to go with her. Did you tell Grandpa? Ling Ruoxue asked. Grandpa probably won't agree. Not yet. Don't worry. Grandpa will definitely let me go. I can stay in your space with the entire White Tiger family. Ling Ruhan had planned it all out long ago. Okay, then Big Brother will go with Shuer. Ling Ruoxue said helplessly. She knew that she couldn't stop her brother, but she could still ensure his safety. Okay. He felt relieved after he got past Shuer. Big Brother, I won't disturb you packing. Then Ling Ruoxue returned to her room. Shuer, since Ruhan is going to Lunar Capital with you, Grandpa thought about it and decided to go with you too, Ling Qingtian said straightforwardly after coming to the listening snow pavilion. Alas, he was worried about his grandson and granddaughter. Ling Ruoxue was at a loss for words. Why is Grandpa joining in the fun too? Let's go together then. Just treat it as a family outing. Mississippi. Lu Tao and Cui Zhu looked at their young miss pitifully after hearing this. Let's go together. Ling Ruoxue said helplessly. On the day of departure, everyone gathered at the entrance of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy early. When Lin Liang saw Ling Qingtian, his eyes almost popped out. Old Ling, what are you doing here? To protect my grandson and granddaughter, of course, Ling Qingtian said proudly. Ruhan was smart enough to think of going with Shuer. Then I want to protect the students of our academy, so can I go too? Lin Liang said with widened eyes. You can't. You're the principal, so you have to stay and oversee the academy, Ling Qingtian said with a smirk. Aren't you still a great general? Lin Liang said angrily through gritted teeth. I've already arranged it. Ling Qingtian smiled. Damn old man, what are you so smug for? Lin Liang roared. Principal, General Leng, many people are watching. Elder Qiu dissuaded somewhat helplessly. How embarrassing. Elder Qiu, please take care of me on the way. Ling Qingtian said very politely. I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. Please take care of me, General Leng. Sweat dripped down Elder Qiu's forehead. The trip would be much safer with such a powerful bodyguard. Miss, we've accepted all the missions, Fengde said as he walked to Ling Ruoxue's side. Okay. Grandpa, Elder Qiu, let's go. Ling Ruoxue nodded. In this way, a group of more than 30 people left Phoenix City under Lin Liang's resentful gaze. Half a month later, they entered a small city on the border of the Southern Dusk Empire. Miss, I'm going to the Mercenary Union to submit the missions, Fengde said. His young lady had asked him to go to the Mercenary Union to accept some missions that were along the way before they set off. So every time they arrived at a new city, he would first submit the completed missions and then take on some new missions that they could do on the road. Go. Well, wait for you in this inn. Grandpa, Elder Qiu, let's sit here. Ling Ruoxue found a seat by the window in the dining hall and sat down. The others also found seats and ordered food. Ruoxue, Brother Feng, Brother Yi, Brother Mu, what a coincidence. Zhu Ri hurriedly came forward to greet Leng Ruoxue and the others when he saw them. Big brother Zhu. Leng Ruoxue didn't expect to see Zhu Ri in such a small place. The others who knew Zhu Ri also greeted him. Grandpa, Elder Chiu, he is the young master of the Hurricane Mercenary Group. He was the one who told me the news about Big Brother's injury, Leng Ruoxue explained. Chapter 85, Leaving for the Southern Dusk Empire, 6, Thank you, young Master Zhu. You're too polite, General Leng. This junior has heard a lot about you, Zhu Ri said quickly. Big brother Zhu, do you have a mission? Leng Ruoxue saw them escorting a carriage pulled by a spirit horse. Yes, we just returned from Western Light, Zhu Ri explained. Big brother Zhu, we still have to travel tomorrow, so we'll go back to our rooms to rest first, Leng Ruoxue said directly after they chatted for a while and saw that everyone was almost done eating. Okay, I won't bother you then. Lin Yuan, stay here and wait for Feng De. The others can go back to their rooms to rest. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Yes, Mississippi. After going to her room, Leng Ruoxue was about to rest early when she heard someone knocking on the door. Why are you here? Leng Ruoxue opened the door and saw the freak standing there. Shuer, why did you return to your room so early? I want to continue chatting with Shuer. I'm tired, so I want to rest early, Leng Ruoxue said. Then rest early. Shuer looks exhausted. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. The next day, Leng Ruoxue and the others were preparing to set off just as dawn was breaking. But they unexpectedly encountered Zhu Ri outside the inn. Ruoxue, what a coincidence. Are you going to Lunar Capital for the competition? Why don't we go together so that we can take care of each other on the road? Zhu Ri said with a smile. Big brother Zhu, we're not going to Lunar Capital for the time being, so it's really not on the way, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. She wanted to take a different route. Moreover, she had already found out that the person in the carriage was a princess, and she was the most beloved princess of the Emperor of the Southern Dusk Empire. She had always been indifferent to princesses. Besides, it would absolutely be a big burden on the road if there was such a pampered princess with them. Yes, brother Zhu. We have other things to do and won't be going to Lunar Capital for the time being, Feng Moran said. He knew that Shuer didn't want to go with them, so of course he had to cooperate with her. Alright. I'll see you in Lunar Capital then, Zhu Ri said with some disappointment. Ruoxue, why didn't we go with them? Feng Aoran asked in puzzlement. Troublesome. Let's go the other way. Leng Ruoxue said. Ruoxue, the other route is very difficult to traverse. Elder Chiu reminded her. Elder Chiu, we didn't take many easy roads along the way either. Leng Ruoxue said. Her main goal was to let them experience the world. If they were here to enjoy life, Quill could have just flown them all the way. That mountain is called the Thousand Cry Mountain. It's the tallest and most dangerous mountain within the borders of Southern Dusk. We have to cross the Thousand Cry Mountain for a road leading to Lunar Capital, Ling Qingtian explained while looking at the mountain not far away. Is everyone ready? Yes. Let's go, Leng Ruoxue ordered. They walked into the Thousand Cry Mountain and realized how tall and steep it was when they entered it. The mountain ridges rose and fell continuously, and what they saw from the outside was only the tip of the iceberg. Moreover, they felt so insignificant between the tall ridges. Leng Ruoxue and the others walked for almost a day before they crossed the peak of one mountain. Big brother, why don't you stay in the Heaven and Earth bracelet? Leng Ruoxue whispered, afraid that her brother would be too tired. Shuer, are you looking down on me? It's just a mountain. Leng Ruhan said with some displeasure. Shuer, we have to find a place to camp. Yi Chen looked at the sky. Okay, let's camp here. Leng Ruoxue said directly, seeing that this place was spacious and level. She knew that everyone was a little tired as well. Why didn't we take an easier road? How long do we have to keep going? A sharp female voice suddenly sounded, attracting everyone's attention. Do you have a problem with this? Len Ruoxia's beautiful eyes were as calm as water as she looked at Song Min, the only other girl in the group. Of course I have a problem. Song Min said with some envy. She was a talented artificer, born to be respected by everyone. But she didn't receive any preferential treatment at all with these people. She had been ignored all along the way, and staying on a barren mountain finally made her, who had always been proud, explode in anger. Do you not want to stay here anymore? Len Ruoxue said coldly. Other than the people from the Sacred Hall, the other 3 divisions each sent a representative with them. Song Min was the representative sent by the Artificer Division, and she had always felt superior. She had complained a lot along the way, but Len Ruoxue didn't do anything for the sake of Elder Chiu. This female prodigy probably couldn't take it anymore now. No one wants to stay in such a godforsaken place. Song Min hollered. Oh, is there anyone else who doesn't want to stay here? Tell me now, and I'll send you down the mountain, Len Ruoxue said indifferently. Her team didn't need spoiled young masters and ladies. Song Min, stop making a fuss. The principal said that we have to listen to Ruoxia's arrangements on the journey, Elder Chiu roared angrily. Based on what? I'm an artificer, Song Min said indignantly. What's so great about a mere artificer like you? Feng De mocked disdainfully. That's right. You are merely an artificer. Look at how smug you are. Lin Yuan echoed. His young lady was also an artificer. Why you? Song Min was so angry that her entire body was trembling. These uncouth people actually dared to humiliate a noble artificer. I won't let them go. Song Min, shut up. Stop making a fuss. Elder Chiu roared again. How can this Song Min be so troublesome? She really has poor judgment. Alas. Elder Chiu, you don't have to persuade me. I'll send her down the mountain, Len Ruoxue said impatiently. Are you two going to descend the mountain with her? Len Ruoxue asked the 2 students from the Alchemist and Beast Trainer divisions. No, the 2 of them said in unison. Although they were also full of complaints when they first set off with Len Ruoxue and the others, they were really convinced after getting along for the past few days. Moreover, they gradually began to worship Len Ruoxue as an idol like the spiritualists. Chapter 86, Another Encounter with Ju Ri, 1, very good. Len Ruoxue was very satisfied with their answer. Quill, send her to lunar capital. Len Ruoxue summoned Quill. Yes, master. Quill threw Song Min roughly onto his back and flew toward lunar capital. Miss, don't be angry with that kind of person, Feng De comforted. The young lady was the god in their hearts. How could that kind of woman be so delusional as to compare herself with the young lady? She was really overestimating herself. How am I angry? Len Ruoxue asked. Miss isn't angry. Feng De quickly corrected himself. Shuer, there's a city after crossing this mountain, Ling Qingtian said. As a general of a country, he was very familiar with the topography of the various countries. Although this 1000-cry mountain wasn't easy to navigate through, dangers also meant opportunities. Grandpa, you and Big Brother should enter the Heaven and Earth bracelet to rest tonight. Len Ruoxue said thoughtfully. It was very cold on the mountain, so she was worried about her brother's health. There's no need. Grandpa isn't that useless. Ling Qingtian said. It had been much more arduous when he led troops into battle. Feng De, grill this for everyone. Len Ruoxue took out the meat of the water python that she killed in the misty woods. We have meat to eat only by following Miss. Feng De said happily. They had not eaten python meat for a long time and were missing it. 2 hours later, Quill returned. Big brother Quill, thanks for the hard work. Come, have some meat. Fengde handed him a piece of grilled meat in an ingratiating manner. Thank you. Quill unceremoniously began munching on the meat after transforming into a small bird. Ruoshua, what level of holy beast is your eagle? He's so fast. Elder Chiu said with envy. It was precisely because he knew that Ruoshua had such an eagle that he was in no hurry to rush along the way. Elder Chiu, Quill isn't a holy beast. Leng Ruoshua caressed Quill's soft feathers. Not a holy beast? Then what is he? He can't be a divine beast. Elder Chiu joked with a smile. Quill is a divine beast, Leng Ruoshua said indifferently. The food in Elder Chiu's hand fell to the ground. His eyes widened as he circled around Quill in disbelief, and there seemed to be suspicious liquid dripping from the corner of his mouth. He's actually a divine beast. Elder Chiu murmured to himself. His eyes lit up as he stared hard at Quill. No wonder he couldn't tell the level of this eagle. It turned out that this eagle was stronger than him. Woo! I suddenly feel so inferior. Old Chiu, my condolences. Ling Qingtian comforted him. Luck was not something to be envious about. While everyone was eating and chatting, a rustling sound came from the distance. What's that sound? Yichen asked cautiously. Master, it's fire ants. Charm listened carefully. What? Fire ants? How can there be fire ants here? Everyone was puzzled, but no one was afraid. This was all thanks to Leng Ruoshua tormenting them during this period. Beloved master, fire ants are so annoying. Darling's face was full of disgust. Both humans and spirit beasts hated fire ants. Fire ants were also a type of spirit beasts, but they were very troublesome and destructive. The best way to deal with a group of fire ants was to run for your lives as soon as possible, or you would become food for the fire ants once they entangled you. An entire fire ant colony was led by a fire ant king, and the fire ants in the colony were only at elementary and intermediate spirit beasts except for the fire ant king. They had yet to develop intelligence and only knew how to eat, and anything could become their food. Do any of you want to contract with the fire ant king? Leng Ruoshua asked everyone while caressing Darling's soft fur comfortably. Everyone was flabbergasted. Miss, who would want to contract such a disgusting thing? Lin Yuan was so disgusted that his hair stood on end. You have to think carefully. Contracting a fire ant king is equivalent to owning a fire ant army. Leng Ruoshua reminded them out of goodwill. See, can I contract it? Whispered Lu Yan, the student of the alchemist division. Although he was an alchemist, his level as a spiritualist was very low. His ability to protect himself would improve dramatically with a fire ant colony. Sure. Leng Ruoshua looked at the delicate and pretty Lu Yan and had a good impression of this student. As they were discussing, a dense swarm of fire ants had already surrounded them. Crack! Crack! Leng Ruoxia's scalp was tingling as she looked at the red ants that were half the height of a human and had pincers raised high with sharp fangs. No wonder even level 9 holy beasts are unwilling to provoke these guys. They are indeed annoying. But where is the fire ant king? All of you, step back, Leng Ruoshua reminded. Get onto my back. Quill said as he suddenly enlarged in the air. Everyone climbed onto Quill's back to prevent Leng Ruoshua from being distracted. Shuer, you have to be careful. Leng Ruhan shouted worriedly. Shuer, Grandpa will help you. Ling Qingtian stood beside his granddaughter. How could he let his precious granddaughter fight alone? And me? Yichen stood on Leng Ruoxia's other side. You'll take on the fire ant king when it comes out. Leng Ruoxua said to Yichen. Alright, leave that big ant to me. Grandpa, let's begin. Okay. These old bones of mine haven't exercised for a long time, Ling Qingtian said as he rubbed his palms together. Leng Ruoxue rushed into the ant colony with her sharp sword in hand. She used the meteor sword technique's blazing tree silver flower, and countless sparks shot toward the fire ant colony like stars. A third of the fire ants instantly died, and countless were injured. Leng Qingtian didn't want to be outdone. He unleashed his most powerful fire element heavenly spiritual skill, Blazing Flame Blaze Era. A sky full of flames charged at the fire ant colony, and another third of them instantly died. Amazing! The people standing on Quill's back stared at the one-sided battle with their mouths agape. This was the first time many people saw Leng Ruoxue fight apart from the earlier selection competition. With the addition of the heroic, invincible, and famous General Leng, it was conceivable how shocking this battle led by the grandfather and granddaughter combination was to them. Chapter 87, Another Encounter with Ju Ri, 2, How Dare You Kill My Children? The Fire Ant King finally showed up after almost half of the fire ants died. Finally came out. Leng Ruoxue stopped attacking and looked at the Fire Ant King with her beautiful eyes. Why do these kings like to cower in fear so much? Can't they just come out openly? Why are they so shy? The Fire Ant King was more than twice the height of ordinary fire ants. Its whole body was as bright as burning flames, and it had 2 large pincers raised high. It was a level 5 holy beast, and it would definitely be as strong as a level 9 holy beast with its ability to control its fire ant colony. So many good assistants. Not bad, she was very satisfied. Seeing the Fire Ant King emerge, Ling Qingtian also stopped. The grandfather and granddaughter stood aside tacitly and gave the battlefield to Yichen. Big Ant, come here, Yichen said softly like the big bad wolf luring Little Red Riding Hood. Damn humans! I won't let you go, the Fire Ant King roared furiously and charged at Yichen. Yichen clenched his fist and punched the Fire Ant King on the head. With a loud bang, the Fire Ant King was overturned, and its feet were upside down in the air. Due to its size, it couldn't turn over no matter how hard it tried, and all it could do was keep kicking its legs. Human, you are too despicable. I won't let you go, the Fire Ant King roared in grief and indignation. You are bullying ants. Woo woo. Damn humans. Is this possible? Cold sweat dripped down everyone's forehead. Leng Ruoxue glanced at the fire ant colony, which were so scared that they wanted to burrow into the ground. She walked to the Fire Ant King and knocked his fiery red body. Not bad, pretty sturdy. Leng Ruoxue praised. Fire Ant King, shall we discuss something? Leng Ruoxue asked extremely kindly. What? Humans, you are too despicable, the Fire Ant King roared indignantly. Aren't you the despicable one? There are only so few of us, but look at how many ants there are among you. Leng Ruoxue pointed at the ants that hadn't died yet. This, the Fire Ant King was speechless. It seemed that it had more on its side. Fire Ant King, I will spare your lives as long as you agree to be his spirit beast. What do you think? Leng Ruoxue pointed at Lu Yen. I don't want to be the spirit beast of a weak human, the Fire Ant King said disdainfully. It had its pride even though it was only an ant. Then die. Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. An immense amount of fire attribute spiritual power was released from her fingertips and hit the Fire Ant King. It was just an ant, so no big deal. And no. I don't want to die. I agree to be a spirit beast, the Fire Ant King said without a spine. Woo. It hurts. How can this human kill me just like that? Too scary. You should have known better. Leng Ruoxue said discontentedly as she tamed the Fire Ant King. Lu Yen, come down and contract with it. Leng Ruoxue said to Lu Yen. Thank you, Lu Yen said to Leng Ruoxue gratefully after establishing the master-slave contract with the Fire Ant King. I, Lu Yen, am willing to acknowledge Leng Ruoxue as my master. I will always be loyal and will never betray you, Lu Yen said suddenly. Then the contract array descended to establish the contract. You're not bad. You definitely have a bright future following our young lady. Feng De patted Lu Yan's shoulder. He liked this smart little fellow. You didn't need to do this, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. She only did things according to her mood and never expected to get anything in return. I did it willingly, Lu Yen said. He hadn't spent much time with them, but he liked the atmosphere between them. He didn't know when it started, but he actually had the desire to become one of them. Everyone, rest early. We have to continue hiking tomorrow, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. Swear, let's not meddle too much in other people's affairs in the future. Otherwise, we'll have to bother with more people in the future, Yi Qin said with some displeasure. Lu Yen and the other students were the same. All of them wanted to follow Shuer. Even though they weren't a threat to him, he was still very displeased. I'm going to bed. Leng Ruoxue rolled her eyes at him. Jealous men are unreasonable. 5 days later, Leng Ruoxue and the others emerged from the Thousand Cry Mountain without any mishap. Everyone had a fruitful harvest, and their faces were full of happy smiles. Few dared to come to this Thousand Cry Mountain because of its reputation, so Leng Ruoxue had gathered a lot of herbs and edible mountain treasures in this mountain. The others also had their own harvests. Shuer, Cloud City is just up ahead. Let's find an inn to freshen up. Leng Qingtian said. These children are as dirty as beggars. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. After entering Cloud City, they found an inn and stayed for only one night before setting off the next day. After leaving Cloud City, they walked for almost 2 days and arrived at Dark Mountain Town, the nearest town to Lunar Capital. Leng Ruoxue and the others found a random inn, settled in, and went to the restaurant downstairs to eat. Ruoxue, after we pass this Dark Mountain Town, we will reach Lunar Capital, Elder Chiu said. This was the first time he had traveled for so long to participate in the academy competition. Elder Chiu, how many days until the academy competition? Leng Ruoxue asked. There are still 5 days. We will probably reach Lunar Capital in 2 days, Elder Chiu said. Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue suddenly heard someone calling her name. She turned her head and saw Ju Ri standing not far away, waving at her. Big brother Ju, did you accept a new mission? Leng Ruoxue asked doubtfully. We haven't even reached Lunar Capital yet. Ju Ri said helplessly. The princess they were protecting was really troublesome. Big brother Ju, don't you have flying spirit beasts? Why are you using carriages? Leng Ruoxue was a little puzzled. If they used flying spirit beasts, they would have arrived in Lunar Capital long ago. The princess is afraid of heights, so we can only use carriages, Ju Ri said somewhat gloomily. He had told his father not to accept this mission, but his father just wouldn't listen to him. In the end, that noble princess kept finding trouble along the way, and his mercenaries also had a lot of complaints. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.